unlocking ancient weapons. I understand, but I want to know that you can kill people and silence them. Wouldn't that be safer? Noah smiled and shook his head. You take yourself too seriously. You are not the only one who knows history. Most of the Roger pirates learned everything about the past from Rafdru. It's just that they choose to wait for the so-called child of destiny, but I am unwilling to wait. I never believe in the so-called child of destiny. So that's it. There is all the history on Rafdru. Robin suddenly realized. You are wrong again. The history of Rafdru is just Joe Boy's family story. People like to selectively write diaries, so these histories are just the history from Joe Boy's perspective. Noah flipped over the planet on the desk again. The past has long been a foregone conclusion, but the future has infinite possibilities. If I admit the so-called child of destiny, wouldn't all my efforts be meaningless? Robin felt for the first time the terrifying aura in Noah, especially the heroic and firmness that changed the world. If you want to subvert the entire world, what kind of world will you build? Noah took out 5 volumes of dragon slaying and some other books. This is the world I imagined. Even if I am shattered into pieces, my will always be imprinted on the history of civilization in this world. After finishing speaking, Noah waved his hand directly. Cielo, arrange a room for Miss Robin. Leave it to me, Lord Noah. Crow nodded respectfully. Although Robin had doubts, he still left with Crow with a lot of books. After arranging the cabin, Crow gave Robin some clothes and daily necessities, and then left. Inside the room, after eating a hasty lunch, Robin couldn't wait to open the books Noah gave her, especially the set of books called 5 Volumes of Dragon Slaying. Unknowingly, night falls. However, Robin in the room was still reading at night. After reading 2 volumes, she was deeply shocked. Early the next morning, Crow delivered a breakfast. Miss Robin, although reading is important, you still need to pay attention to your health. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Crow. Robin looked tired with panda eyes, but his eyes were full of light. Crow knew that the other party did not listen, but he did not continue, but quietly left. 5 days later, the Prosperity returned to its secret base on York Island. Robin's energy and spirit had changed tremendously after she got off the boat. If she was full of confusion and fear before, at this moment, she seemed to have seen through the weirdness of the world. When meeting Noah again, Robin no longer had the anxiety he had before, only admiration remained. Mr. Noah, York Island seems to be the base camp of the Capone family, right? Well, he has been transformed by me. Reformed? It's just an application of devil fruit ability. For people who are full of evil and good strength, I will transform them into card apostles, such as this one. As soon as he finished speaking, Apostle Shiki changed from card state to human form. Robin's eyes narrowed. Golden Lion Shiki? Little girl, I am the Golden Lion Shiki, and I am also the apostle of my lord. Please give me your guidance in the future. Looking at the legendary pirate in front of him, Robin finally understood why Noah had the ideal to subvert the world. I am looking forward to Mr. Noah's new world more and more. You will see, but your strength is too weak. The enemies we have to face in the future are very powerful. If we don't have the strength, we may fall before dawn. Noah reminded. Robin nodded. I understand. Then please ask Mr. Noah to train me. If it were her before, she would definitely not be too keen on improving her strength, because the historical text is her obsession, and Akiji has left an invincible shadow on her. But now, not only is her obsession with historical texts greatly reduced, but she is no longer afraid of Marines and world government. She thinks it is very necessary to improve her strength. As for physical skills, let Crow teach you for a while, and I will guide you to reorganize the development of devil fruits. Development of devil fruits? Robin knew that his fruit was a flower fruit, and its potential was very weak. Seeing her expression, Noah knew that Robin thought his fruit's abilities were average. Although you have a very rich knowledge base, your ability to develop devil fruit abilities is very mediocre, and you wasted this fruit. I'm really sorry about that. Robin half-joked. The ability of Hua fruit is a combination of superpower and superhuman body. You can create flower organs outside your body, and these external organs are connected to your senses, right? Yes. Robin nodded. Then why did you reveal your identity so easily? What? Robin was confused by Noah's sudden question. That's why I said you wasted this fruit. You can bloom on your face and change your appearance and even body shape through the skin of the flower. After hearing this, Robin tried it, and sure enough, after covering his face with a layer of skin, his appearance changed somewhat. Noah released a floor-to-ceiling mirror. You can create a brand new face. After a while, Robin's face became completely different. If he was not very familiar with her figure, it would be difficult for a stranger to see through this disguise. Camouflage is just a small application of hua fruit. Hua fruit gives you the ability to create flower organs from a long distance. If your body and physical skills are strong enough, like this, Noah's dark fingers instantly inserted into the stone in front of him. As long as your physical skills and domineering are strong enough, any target that appears within the range of your sight, hearing, and color sensing will have a hard time escaping your assassination. Robin poked the stone in front of him with his finger and found that his finger hurt. Next is the third application direction, which is also the foundation of your future strength, and that is exoskeleton derivation. You have to imitate the exoskeleton of insects and create a layer of exoskeleton and specialized organs on the body surface, so as to use this method to change the physical strength and weakness of women. Under Noah's guidance, Robin tried hard. At first, the exoskeleton she generated was strangely shaped, which not only failed to increase her strength, but also restricted her body's movements. But Noah reminded her that it was necessary to combine the exoskeleton structure of insects and the structure of the human body to make its development progress rapidly. Soon she developed the first set of exoskeleton armor, Ant King version 1.0. This is the result of Robin dissecting hundreds of ants under a microscope. After entering the Ant Queen mode, her strength increased dozens of times, but the duration was very short, probably only about 10 minutes. Noah knew that this was the result of Robin rigidly imitating the structure of an ant. Chapter 76, Part 2. Next, she would have to make constant adjustments based on her own body before she could turn it into a long-term exoskeleton. Mode. Chapter 77, Part 1. West Blue. In the waters of Caliban, the Intrang family, one of the 5 major mafia families, is entrenched here. At this time, the headquarters of the Intron family, Citrus Island. Kill. For the Godfather. A large number of criminal cannon fodder of the Capone family, wielding axes and knives, followed by ordinary guys carrying rifles and rocket launchers. As one of the supervisors, Enel looked at the cannon fodder in front of him very indifferently and did not regard these people as companions at all. After more than a year of ideological transformation, Enel finally passed the ideological examination half a year ago. At the same time, he also completed the training of physical skills and dual color domineering. Especially in the aspect of seeing, hearing, and color, his talent is very strong, and he has the same super wide range as Noah. Type. Suddenly, a large number of mafia members from the Intrang family appeared on both sides of the street in front of them. Bang, bang, bang. The criminal cannon fodder who rushed at the front was immediately hit hard, and soon retreated in defeat. Enel sneered. Shoot. Bang, bang, bang. Among the dense bullets, there were also several rockets. Boom, boom, boom. ICNM. Hole. I haven't. The criminal cannon fodder was attacked from both sides and suffered heavy casualties immediately. The people in the Intlang family were also dumbfounded. But Enel had no interest in explaining to these rubbish. He swung his alloy trident and cut off a dozen criminal cannon fodder. This extremely bloody scene made everyone present shudder. This is what happens when you retreat. Follow me and charge. Enel took the lead, slaughtering all the criminal cannon fodder who retreated in a moment, and then pounced directly on the mafia members of the Intron family. Help! Don't kill me! On this day, this Citrus Island was filled with blood. Soon the news of the Capone family's annexation of the Intron family spread like wildfire in the West Blue underground world. The remaining Kimura family, Omida family, and the secretly controlled Gambino family immediately linked up secretly and prepared to join forces to deal with the Capone family. It's a pity that the Kimura family and the Omida family don't know that Gambino off has become Noah's apostle. The existence of such a high-level spy is almost a fatal loophole for this so-called temporary alliance. Sea of Naples. The headquarters of the Kimura family, Pearl Islands. After secretly contacting 2 other mafia families through a phone bug, Kimura Harry, the godfather of the Kimura family, did not relax at all. Have you contacted the Dirk Pirates? A bald cadre of the family shook his head. Godfather, the Dirk Pirates disappeared some time ago. Harry frowned. No, the Capone family is too strong. Other families may not be reliable. It's not good if this continues. Godfather, in fact, we can also find an antique dealer. A cadre with a sly eyebrow suggested. Antique dealer? Harry was a little undecided. It was not that the antique dealer was not strong enough, but that he was too strong, which made him very afraid. After thinking for a while, Harry still had not made up his mind. Let's discuss the matter with the antique dealer. You can contact other pirate groups. As long as they are willing to take action, the reward will be 5 billion vellay. Yes, Godfather. All the family officials had no objections to Harry's decision. After all, the reputation of antique dealers in the West Blue underground world is too bad. They are a typical double-edged sword. If the Capone family is wiped out, but the Kimura family suffers heavy losses, then the gain will not be worth the loss. But after a week, a sudden news shocked the slightly relaxed Kimura family. What did you say? Harry, with wide eyes, looked very ugly and shocked as he listened to his men's report. The bald cadre could only continue. Godfather, the news is true. I obtained this news through the channels of the United Chamber of Commerce. Harry gritted his teeth. Asterisk asterisk hole. Gambino off. I didn't expect you to hide it so deeply. Just now, the base camp of the Omida family, one of the 5 major mafia families, was captured by Off and his men who went to have a secret meeting. Now the entire top management of the Omida family has been almost massacred, while the middle and lower level members have been the Gambino family quickly folded. As the Gambino family annexed the Omida family and the Capone family annexed the Intron family, the 5 mafia family systems in the West Blue underground world fell apart. Faced with such a situation, Harry, who didn't want to sit still and wait for death, finally made up his mind. More, contact the antique dealer immediately. Yes, Godfather. More, the bald cadre, hurried to contact the antique dealer. At the same time, Mary also led members of the inspection department to conduct covert screening of the temporarily recruited members of the Intron family and the Omida family. As for those temporary recruits who have done many evil things, in the next process of conquering the Kimura family, we must find ways to consume these people. As for those temporary recruits who do not have many problems, or who only commit petty theft, they must be ideologically reshaped or sent to insignificant positions. Both sides are preparing. Before I knew it, more than a month had passed. During this period of more than a month, the Capone family and the Gambino family have been engaged in friction. On the one hand, it is to paralyze the Kimura family, and on the other hand, it is also to reasonably clear out some unqualified personnel. The Kimura family did not relax their vigilance because of the friction between the Capone family and the Gambino family. Instead, they strengthened their internal armaments. Of course, Noah, as the director behind the scenes, is very aware of the Kimura family's little moves through the winery's intelligence monitoring. However, making the other party fully prepared is also one of Noah's purposes. After all, in order to reasonably consume those unqualified cannon fodder, of course, the power of the Kimura family must be strong enough. As for the antique dealer who would intervene, Noah did not take him seriously. Even the information about antique dealers was clear to Noah. After all, the Noah family has phone bug monitoring technology. As long as they are on the monitoring list, many things can be said on the phone, which is basically equivalent to the Noah family knowing. The consequences of this one-way transparency of intelligence are very dire. On the evening of November 21st, inside the secret base on York Island, Robin walked in with a document. At this time, she had changed her appearance. Even within the family, she chose to maintain the mask. Is there any important information? Yes, it's the phone records of the antique dealer and Kimura Harry. Noah took the document, read it for a while, and suddenly raised the corner of his mouth. Not bad. This Harry still has some brains. Let Off go to the appointment. Okay, by the way, the Marine West Blue Branch has also been paying attention to the battles in the underground world recently. Noah waved his hand. Don't worry, as long as the Gambino family and the Capone family don't decide the outcome, Marine will not take action. He has studied the West Blue pattern. Chapter 77, Part 2. West Blue has 3 major underground forces, namely the 5 Mafia, the United Chamber of Commerce, and the Babeo Navy. Whenever one of them disappears, more serious chaos will erupt in the West Blue underground world. And behind these forces, there are also nobles from various kingdoms, West Blue Marine, and global underground giants involved. Although the current appointment as the Admiral of West Blue Marine is a trick, the other party does not have the power to use Marine to clean up the Mafia. Gray forces like the Mafia are sometimes the result of compromises between all parties. Chapter 78, Part 1. It is November 28, 1507 in the Haiyuan calendar. The West Tower Sea area is also the sea area where the famous West Sky Summit is located. This sea area is in the middle of West Blue, just between the spheres of influence of the Gambino family and the Kimura family. Therefore, this secret meeting was naturally chosen here. And in order to dispel Off's vigilance, Harry also specially selected an island closer to the Gambino family, Red Coral Island. On the sea east of Red Coral Island, a fleet flying the flag of the Kimura family slowly approached the port of Coral Town on Red Coral Island. Alf, who arrived in Coral Town in advance, brought many members with him to clean up, but he expelled all the residents near the port to other places. At this time, among the Kimura family's fleet, an old man wearing a gentleman's hat was standing on the bow of the ship, looking at the approaching dock and the faintly visible members of the Gambino family above. Next to him was Moore, the bald cadre of the Kimura family. At this time, he was observing the situation on the dock with a telescope. Mr. Hanover, off the Gambino family is on the dock. Don't worry. Ha 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 ha. Hanover, the antique dealer, laughed strangely and played with the pistol in his hand. For Hanover, who was full of confidence, Moore did not really care about the other party, but was worried that the other party would not be able to kill off and others, causing losses to the Kimura family. 10 minutes later, the fleet finally entered the dock area, less than 200 meters away from the dock. Moore, where's that guy, Harry? Alf called loudly. Naturally, Moore didn't want to be exposed now, so he immediately responded, Godfather Alf, my godfather will come out for a meeting soon. Hanover, who was hiding behind several Kimura mafia, suddenly raised his hand and shot. Corrosive bullet. In an instant, 6 bullets were fired. Alf, who was on the dock, had already sensed the danger through his sight and color. He jumped away, and several cannon fodder as guards were instantly hit by corrosive bullets. Sizzling. As if being splashed with concentrated sulfuric acid, these people's bodies suddenly sizzled and smoked amidst the shrill screams, and then turned into a pile of bones. Fire. Hidden artillery was pushed out from the fleet's cabin, and gunmen quickly rushed out, shooting and bombing members of the Gambino family on the dock. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Hurry and take cover. Fight back. Help. There was chaos on the pier, but Aof, who had jumped to the top of a tall building, and several members of the Noah family were watching this scene very calmly. Hanover's pistol kept firing, but any person or object hit by its bullets would be corroded and dissolved in a large area. Soon those unqualified members on the dock were wiped out. Then, a large number of Kimura family mafia boarded the pier and began to surround the high-rise buildings of Off and others. When Moore saw this scene in front of him, he immediately burst out laughing. Off, the end of your Gambino family has come. You are so confident. Aof looked at the proud Moore and Hanover not far away with a calm expression. The next moment, Alf's shirt exploded. His body expanded in a large circle, and he entered the half-orc form of a bully dog. What? Ability user? Moore was startled. Hanover looked disdainful. Is this your confidence? It's really boring. Corrosive bullet. The bullet penetrated Alf's body, hit the tiles behind him, and corroded a large hole. But Hanover's face became cautious, and he exhaled suddenly. Corrosive air. The few surrounding Kimura mafia who had no time to escape were corrupted beyond recognition and rolled crazily on the ground. However, this kind of gas that can corrode all things met Alf, who was covered in armed colors. In an instant, Alf appeared in front of Hanover. Armed color? Damn it. Fist of corrosion. Boom. Alf punched instantly, sweeping out a shock wave. Hanover's eyes widened in anger as he was knocked several hundred meters away by the iron fist shock wave, directly smashing through the ship at the dock and falling into the sea. Garbage. Another half-empty person who only develops his abilities without training his body. From the time Alf transformed and took action to when Hanover was knocked into the sea, only 10 seconds passed. Moore, who had just woken up from a dream, was already cold all over, and his hands and feet were shaking involuntarily. I vote. The heart in his chest was instantly pulled out, and Moore fell down with his eyes open. Aof casually crushed his heart. The family doesn't need garbage. Soon the mafia brought over by the Kimura family was bloodbathed. The antique merchant Hanover was also fished out of the sea. This guy has the corrosion fruit ability, and his ability is similar to Marine Zion's rust fruit. While Ofu dealt with the members of the Kimura family brought over by Moore. The Kimura family's base camp was also raided by Becky. Harry and other senior members of the Kimura family were wiped out. At this point, 3 of the 5 major West Blue Mafia families were completely destroyed, leaving only the Capone family and the Gambino family. On the surface, the 2 families are in friction, but in fact they are helping each other eliminate dissidents, and at the same time, they are rapidly taking over the spheres of influence of the other 3 Mafia families. The other forces in West Blue had to give up the idea of taking advantage of the situation when they saw that the Capone family and the Gambino family had maintained restraint and were evenly matched. while the Noah family was busy attacking the West Blue Mafia. The Grand Line, Paradise, Marie Joa on the Red Earth continent. At this time, the fire was blazing into the sky. Amid the chaos and fire, a large number of slaves took the opportunity to escape from Maria Joya. The ships that had been prepared long ago under the Red Earth continent rescued thousands of slaves. Fishman Tiger is lucky, because the 5 elders were not in Mary Joa tonight, but went to Egghead Island. Porcelino also went to support Sengoku against the crazy Kaido because of the New World incident. Kuzan has been wandering around South Blue recently, seemingly looking for traces of Noah and his party, and has not returned to Marine headquarters. Garp went back to Donghai to see his grandson again. Crane also goes to North Blue to hunt down the Don Quixote family. At this time, there are only Fleet Admiral Sora, Grand Instructor Zephyr, and Lieutenant General Guion among the top Marine leaders at Marine headquarters. One of the 3 must stay in Marineland. Therefore, only Sora and Guion attacked. Unfortunately, neither of them had control skills. With the secret help of Rayleigh and Shaki, the escape ships quickly completed the coating. After diving to the bottom of the sea, Sora and Guion could only sigh in despair. This incident instantly detonated the sea, especially Morgan's, who was worried about the world being in chaos, so he wrote the news on the headlines the next day. Obviously, this matter can no longer be hidden, and the world government can only issue a notice to arrest the Sun Pirates and the mastermind Tiger. Fortunately, Tiger was not too brainless and knew to cut off the relationship with the Dragon Palace Kingdom in advance and become a wanted criminal in the Dragon Palace Kingdom. Chapter 78, Part 2. Otherwise, the world government would definitely attack the Dragon Palace Kingdom. The 5 elders who had just returned to Maria Joya did not say anything on the surface, but in their hearts they were already thinking about how to deal with the Dragon Palace Kingdom. Chapter 79, Part 1. The secret unification of the West Blue Mafia has greatly increased the power of the Noah family. Noah did not set sail again, but continued to stay in the secret base on York Island. At this time, he had completed the apostolic creation of the 6th Major Arcana card. Noah currently has 6 Major Arcana apostles, namely, Devil Pan Button, Exchange Fruit, Emperor, Shiki, Piao Piao Fruit, Shinigami, Mizuru, Fruit, Justice, Garam, Cube Fruit, World, Caponed Becky, Castle Fruit, A. Hermit, Hanover, Corrosion Fruit. The Corrosion Fruit enhances Noah's attack strength. The ability of this fruit is very simple and crude. That is, it corrodes everything. Even the armed domineering spirit can be corroded. Of course, in order to corrode the opponent's weapon color, the premise is that one's physical strength is sufficient and the sight color must be stronger than the opponent's. Otherwise, one will fall into a dilemma where the attack is very powerful but cannot hit the opponent. After obtaining the 6th apostle of the Major Arcana deck, Noah's card fruit has become further powerful, and the progress of the fruit's full awakening has reached about 27%. Moreover, the fruit abilities that he can borrow have also been increased from 1 before to 2. However, Noah also used tarot cards for divination and knew that his body could only accommodate up to 3 exogenous devil fruit abilities at the same time. In other words, even if Noah reaches the fruit awakening state, he can only use the fruit abilities of 3 apostles at the same time in addition to his own card fruit. This is also expected. After all, the human body has its limits unless we stop being human. However, his apostles themselves are made from human bodies as raw materials, so their strength can be continuously strengthened through their own cultivation. In the training ground, Noah controlled the power of corrosion, fused it into the iron sand, and then borrowed the control power of the Piao Piao fruit. The corrosive sand instantly corroded the rock wall ahead with dense holes. If a trypophobia patient saw this scene, he would probably go into shock on the spot. The combined use of the 2 fruit abilities is indeed very difficult, but Noah had already expected this result. He took out Big Bear's card, Steel Fruit. It seems that it must be reshaped. Previously, because Noah did not fully understand the awakening mechanism of the card fruit, he thought that he had to collect both the Minor Arcana and the Major Arcana in order to complete the fruit awakening. Now that we know that we only need to collect the Major Arcana deck to complete the fruit awakening, the previously transformed Big Bear is not suitable to remain in the Minor Arcana deck. He placed the palm of his hand on the Big Bear's forehead, instantly pulled out the card spirit lodged in it, and then took out the power card from the Major Arcana deck. Merge. The Big Bear's body was once again wrapped in a golden cocoon. Soon the 7th apostle in the Major Arcana deck was born. Power. Big Bear. Steel Fruit. Noah's card fruit is one step closer to awakening. With the transformation of the Big Bear into the Major Arcana card, Noah's connection with this card became even closer. In fact, the steel fruit is no less important to Noah at this stage than the piao piao fruit. Because among the 7 apostles of the major arcana, only the steel fruit and the castle fruit are of the superhuman type, and the rest are of the superpower and supercreation type. The castle fruit is not strong enough to improve physical strength. Noah himself is an ordinary human being. Even if he takes the source blood potion to enhance his physical fitness, there is still a bottleneck in this improvement. If you want to fight against masters who possess phantom beast species, the steel fruit must be a regular weapon. For example, the physical fitness of beings at the level of Sengoku, Kaido, and the 5 elders is basically the highest in the world. Without a talented body, Noah can only make up for the gap with the fantasy beast species through the steel fruit. Fortunately, Noah's conquerors is very powerful. After so many years of psychological suggestion and ideological construction, his conquerors has undergone obvious mutations. At this time, his conquerors, in a highly condensed state, was not the dark or purple color of ordinary conquerors, but red. In fact, this variation is very normal. Because domineering is the condensation and extension of a person's will, courage, and emotion. Ambitious people, or lawless people, their conqueror's color is black or purple, which is also the mainstream color of conquerors. For thoughts like Noah, the conqueror's is naturally red. Of course, Noah's conquerors didn't just change color. This mutation gave his conquerors some brand new abilities. The first ability is spiritual resonance, which is similar to the ability of Princess Otoheim of Ryugu Kingdom to see, hear, and see. The second ability is red torrent, which is also the core ability of Noah's conquerors. As long as anyone has the same thoughts as Noah, their willpower can be integrated into Noah's conquerors. However, this ability is limited in scope. Currently, only the willpower of companions within a radius of 3 kilometers can be mobilized. His red torrent has an effect similar to that of swordsman. It can also be wrapped around the armed color to break the defense of others. Its defense-breaking effect is even more powerful than Liu Ying's. In fact, red torrent and spiritual resonance are a combination of skills. People who do not agree with Noah's thoughts cannot connect through spiritual resonance. Without this connection, they will naturally not be able to integrate their willpower into Noah's conqueror's domination. The red torrent also has a reverse application, which is to allow partners who agree with Noah's thoughts to gain immunity to others' conqueror's pressure within a specific range. However, Noah has never really tried this application. After all, so far, the Noah family has not fought against an enemy with conqueror's domineering power. The training on the training ground continues. At this moment, Robin appeared on the edge of the training ground. Noah stopped, and Taisha picked up the towel in the lounge. While wiping his sweat, he asked, "What's the matter?" News came from North Blue that Doflamingo hijacked a treasure ship transporting heavenly gold. From the call records, the other party planned to use this to coerce the 5 elders into becoming shichibukai. Noah picked up the lemonade. It's a choice that puts the cart before the horse. Without strength, so what if you become a shichibukai? The sea is about strength. Robin continued to report the information. Marine Hunter Mihawk accepted the world government's invitation and became the 3rd shichibukai. Terror Weapon Dahlia became the 4th shichibukai. Terrorist weapon? That weapon fruit ability user? Where is he? Currently in the waters off Orlando in New World. Let the winery strengthen monitoring. Noah ordered. No problem. Robin continued. The East China Sea Branch found a valuable target, a user with imitation fruit ability named Von Clay, but the opponent entered the Grand Line yesterday. Imitation fruit? Noah took a sip of lemonade unmoved. Chapter 79, Part 2. The lurking personnel in the Sabaody Islands sent back news that the intelligence personnel of the Big Mom Pirates purchased a devil fruit in the Sabaody Islands, which has been identified as Paramecia's reheat fruit. Noah narrowed his eyes slightly. Rear fruit? Can you determine the opponent's location? She should still be on Fishman Island now. When Noah heard the news, another thought came to his mind. Why go to Fishman Island? Could it be that Charlotte Bray hasn't eaten the mirror fruit yet? After all, for such an important devil fruit, if it were the Noah family, Alii would definitely be dispatched as soon as possible to bring it back to the family. At this time, the intelligence officers of the Big Mom Pirates chose to pass through Fishman Island. This can only mean one problem. That is, Charlotte Bray has not obtained the mirror fruit. Yet. Chapter 80, Part 1. January 8th, 1508 in the Hyuan calendar. New World, Thor Island route. Noah and his team, who jumped through the wormhole a few days ago and came to the sea area, were currently over Thor Island. In addition to Crow, Robin, and Daz who followed Noah, Joshua from the South Blue Storm Islands also followed. At this time, Joshua had entered the elemental state and turned into a bolt of lightning wandering among the thunder of Thunder God Island. What a terrifying power! Daz looked at the dark clouds below, which were densely covered with endless thunder and electric snakes. This is also the natural disaster-restricted area caused by the awakening of the two fruits they have encountered so far. After the hurricane fruit awakens, it creates a sea of loss. The Thunder God Island in front of us is obviously a natural disaster-restricted area caused by the awakening of the thunder fruit. Noah shook his head and explained, "It's not that simple. After the thunder fruit awakens, it will be difficult to form Thunder God Island. Is there any secret in this?" Robin was a little confused. To form such a natural disaster-restricted area, it is difficult to achieve it by awakening fruits alone, especially Logia that has no fixed substance such as thunder fruit and hurricane fruit. Noah pointed to the Thunder God Island below. The answer to the reason why this island can maintain a state of dense thunder for a long time is that this island is rich in iron ore. These iron ores are smelted by the power of thunder and gradually become magnets. This is how Thunder God Island can be maintained for a long time. I see. Noah continued to popularize science. The Lost Sea itself is a relatively stormy sea area. Under the attack of the world government's ancient weapon, Atlan Island turned into a huge underwater abyss, allowing underground magma to continuously gush out from this loophole. This gives the hurricane a huge heat supply, thereby maintaining long-term storm disasters. Everyone suddenly realized. In fact, the Judiciary Island under the world government has the special feature of always being in daylight, which is also caused by an awakened-level fruit ability user. This ability user is most likely to be the Shining Fruit. The Logia Devil Fruit is called a natural disaster because it has the ability to semi-permanently change the climate of a local area. Half an hour later, a bolt of lightning flew onto the deck of the Nautilus, and Joshua regrouped from the lightning. How? Noah asked. Joshua shook his head. There is nothing to refer to, but I can use the lightning on this island to increase the battery life and expand the range of electromagnetic wave monitoring. How much can it be expanded? The limit is probably around a radius of 2,600 kilometers. Noah touched the stubble on his chin. 2,600 kilometers? Even Mary Joa on the Red Earth continent is included. Crow took out the world map and calculated it using a scale. It is indeed within 2,600 kilometers. The Red Soil continent in the Mariajoya section is only about 1,500 kilometers away from Thor Island. Noah immediately ordered, "Joshua, you should use Thunder God Island to monitor the surrounding waters, especially the ship of the Big Mom pirates. Leave it to me." Joshua turned into a bolt of lightning again and merged into the thunder clouds below. Noah, on the other hand, maintains contact with Joshua through electromagnetic waves. The morning of the third day, Noah suddenly opened his eyes, and Joshua regrouped in front of him from the lightning. "Brother, the target has appeared. It is 436 kilometers northwest of us. They have just risen from the bottom of the sea. Come on, let's go meet them for a while." The Nautilus quickly set sail and headed northwest at full speed. In less than 4 hours, the Hamet ship created from the Soul Fruit was under the Nautilus. Joshua quickly used wireless power transmission to kill the nearby newsbirds within dozens of kilometers, and at the same time used electromagnetic interference to prevent the surrounding phone bugs from communicating. Noah and others also put on masks and white suits and raided the Hamet ship below directly from high altitude. Inside the Hamet ship, Charlotte Owen, the fourth son of the Charlotte family, suddenly changed his face and rushed out of the cabin in an instant. Boom. The next moment, the Hamet ship was hit by a terrifying molten iron fist and instantly torn apart. The ordinary pirates of the Charlotte family on board were also stunned by the attack and could not react at all. Owen, who was riding the moonwalk, looked at the man in a white suit and mask falling from the sky, his expression extremely ugly. "CP organization, are you going to start a war with us? It seems that you have eaten the riri fruit. What a pity." Noah saw Owen, who was all red, and knew that the other party had already eaten the riri fruit. "Right now, Sir Owen, there is no way for phone bugs to communicate." Owen's heart suddenly sank, just when he was about to run away. A stream of red conquerors came straight towards him. How is it possible? Owen's eyes widened, and the moonwalk under his feet almost couldn't hold on. Kowloon stalks and kills. The sea surged suddenly, and 9 water dragons exploded, wrapping around Owen in all directions. What? This kind of ability? Owen was shocked. His feet immediately turned red, and he used heated air to violently rise to high altitudes. Dark clouds are over the horizon. The cumulus emperor clouds that had long been scattered in the surrounding airspace instantly turned into huge palms that covered the sky and sun, pressing down on Owen. Owen's hands were red, and he struck upward with all his strength. Hot wind fist. The extremely hot fist blast penetrated the palm of Dark Cloud's giant palm. Before Owen could be happy, a dozen Dark Cloud pythons quickly emerged from the giant palm of the Dark Cloud and attacked around him. The sea dragon below also rose into the sky. Damn it, this is the power of the Piao Piao fruit. Could it be that the old guy from the Golden Lion was killed? Owen angrily chased away a Dark Cloud python. However, he did not realize the seriousness of the problem. The dark clouds were dispersed, but the sea floor's stone content contained in them was floating in the air. After a while, Owen felt his body getting heavier and heavier. What's going on? These dark clouds are poisonous? The more he struggled, the more components of Hailu stone breathed into his body, and the weaker the fruit ability in his body became. In less than 3 minutes, Irving fell down unable to do anything. Noah's iron sand mixed with sea stones wrapped the fallen Owen, and then returned to the Nautilus, and Joshua also returned to the deck. The pirates and the ship below have been completely cleared. Very good. Noah sent Owen directly into the castle space in his body, and then stabbed him inside. After a while, the hot fruit was forced to be reborn in the castle space. After the blood was drawn from Owen's body, it was directly electrocuted into char. The Nautilus quickly sped towards West Blue. At the same time, the kingdom of Totland in the New World. On the Cake Island, Holmeis, who was responsible for managing the family's life paper, was shocked. Oh no, Mr. Owen's life paper is burning. Soon, Katakuri and Perispero rushed to the dessert house where the life paper was stored. Chapter 80, Part 2. At this time, Owen's life paper has been burned. Out. Chapter 81, Part 1. The death of Charlotte Owen made the entire Big Mom Pirates extremely furious. Soon the Big Mom Pirates issued tens of billions of bounties in the New World and the Underworld. It's a pity that Noah does things cleanly and neatly. Even the underground intelligence giant Morgans has no way of knowing who did this, let alone other underground giants. The only person who may know the truth is Violet, the second princess of the kingdom of Dressrosa. The maximum coverage radius of her staring fruit can reach 4,000 kilometers. The Isle of Thunder is only about 790 kilometers away from the kingdom of Dressrosa. If Violet had observed here that day, she could have seen the battle scene between Noah and Owen. It's a pity that Noah has been wary of each other for a long time. On the day of the operation, Champagne arranged for his subordinates to deliberately set fire to a small forest near the coast of Dressrosa Island. Therefore, Violet can only focus on the kingdom of Dressrosa and beware of possible enemies. The furious Big Mom Pirates caused trouble in the New World, but attracted the attention of Marine and other big pirates. After Noah returned to West Blue's York Island base, he didn't stay too long. He quickly jumped through the wormhole and arrived at Lion Island in the Paradise Sky Governor's District. Lord Noah, long time no see. Monet greeted him with a smile. Is work going well? Monet nodded. There is no big problem. The defense system of the air island has been initially improved. She introduced the specific situation of Sky Island to Noah. At present, the Paradise Sky Governor-General has jurisdiction over a total of 15 Sky Islands, including 11 islands including Lion Island, Feather Island, Angel Island, Field Island, and Shanghai Island in the core area, and 4 outpost islands, namely Burka Island in the south, Gluttony Island in the east, Dark Cloud Island in the west, and Tianchi Island in the north. The total population is 53,000, and the regular army is 3,500. It has 4 medium-sized flying arcs and a 1,000-man air cavalry unit. The commander of the Sky Legion is Weepa. Although the regular army only has 3,500 people, the militia has about 8,300 people. These militiamen are reserve forces, and they will all receive preliminary training in domineering and physical skills. The Kongdao area's specialty, the Kongdao shellfish breeding industry, has also developed very quickly, especially with the help of Andy, Luo, and others. Some rare shellfish that were on the verge of extinction have been restored to population size. For example, the impact shells and laser shells, these 2 types of empty island shells, have recovered from their previous endangered status to a population with more than 2,000 shells. Noah visited the mechanical island located northwest of Lion Island. This empty island was specially used to transform the Flying Arkansas. He saw Luo, who was busy on a ship. Is this the Eden-class ark? Seeing Noah's arrival, Luo quickly stopped what he was doing and respectfully kaido. Yes, Noah's family, this is the Eden-class arc you envisioned. The difference between the arc in front of you and an ordinary medium-sized arc is that its surface is covered with a layer of dark green scales. These scales are actually the leaves of a plant native to Sky Island. The characteristic of the Eden-class arc is that it is transformed into life. This ship is essentially a tree, and it can rely on photosynthesis to store energy. As for its power and weapons, Luo used the fruits of surgery to transplant part of the functional organs of the Sky Island shell onto the tree boat. For example, the injectors used as power were transplanted onto the ship using giant blast shells cultivated using IQ medicine. Another example is the laser cannon used as a weapon. IQ potion is also used to strengthen the laser shell, and then the laser shell is transplanted to the tree ship. In order to enhance the scale of energy storage, Ribe's energy storage organ was strengthened using IQ medicine. Its maximum energy storage limit is equivalent to the heat of complete combustion of 5 tons of coal. This Eden-class arc is equipped with 100 Ribe energy storage batteries. In order to increase the scale of energy generated by photosynthesis, photosynthetic leaves that can be freely extended are transplanted on both sides of the tree ship. When these leaves are expanded, they can increase the area of the photosynthetic leaves on the ship by 10 times. The bottom of the ship is transplanted with enhanced cloud shells that can spit out fixed clouds. This allows the tree ship to float unpowered at high altitudes. It also serves as a camouflage effect and can also defend against the intrusion of ability users. This kind of biological warship not only has strong survivability, but can also provide supplies to the personnel on board. For example, the steak growth room and vitamin growth room were transformed using part of the organs of the stomach baron, and the freshwater generation room and shower room were transformed from the water shell, plus the transformation of Yenbei and Ribe. Come out of the kitchen. The transplantation ability of surgical fruits, which ignores species differences and rejection, can achieve many unimaginable transformations and creations in terms of biological modification. With the transplantation and transformation of various biological organs, Luo's development of surgical fruits became more and more in-depth, and he also understood more and more what Noah said. Knowledge is power. It seems that the research and development progress is okay, but it is not enough. Luo nodded. It is indeed not perfect yet. However, although the resin organ of the Yarkman mangrove can be transplanted, the bubbles produced by the resin are outside the Sabaody Islands, and it is difficult to maintain stability for a long time. I am thinking of ways to improve it. Noah waved his hand. It doesn't matter. Take your time. We still have time. By the way, Noah's family, you asked me to build a special arc before. It is currently estimated to take about 2 months. 2 months? I understand. You don't have to worry. You should be more prepared in terms of safety measures. I will strengthen arrangements in this area. Noah took a look at the internal facilities of the Eden class, and then asked about Chilua's ability development. At this time, Luo can already use ultrasound, X-rays, and nuclear magnetic resonance, but he has not yet mastered gamma rays and heavy protons. It is estimated that he will not be able to do it until the fruit awakens. But there has been great progress in development in other directions. For example, the wild beasts left over from previous Golden Lion experiments were transformed into a special beast core. Luo selected dozens of the gorillas and modified their bodies. These gorillas were divided into several types, namely the sea gorilla team, the fire gorilla team, the flying gorilla team, and the power gorilla team. Orangutans can move under the sea and use toxins, ink, and electric shock as means. The fire orangutan has been transplanted with the organs of the wind shell and the flame shell, and has wings, which can breathe fire and fly. The flying orangutan has been transplanted with laser shell organs and wings, and can emit lasers and fly. The orangutan has been transplanted with an insect exoskeleton and a hedgehog's back spines. It is very powerful and can shoot giant spines. Chapter 81, Part 2. In addition, Luo also modified a set of biological armor for himself, which also used gorillas as raw materials, so that he could integrate into it and avoid the disadvantages of directly modifying his own body, and at the same time, he could use various biological organs. The biological armor, which is more than 6 meters high, has strong physical strength in itself, and also has various weird biological organs. Luo drove in it, saving his own physical strength. Chapter 82, Part 1. After Noah inspected the empty island for more than a week, he went to sea again. The Nautilus did not land in the waters of Gaia Island, but chose to descend in the Gluttony waters where the Baron of the Stomach was discovered before. After secret transformation, a medium-sized ark is stationed on Gluttony Island, which will regularly go to the petal island of the Baron of the Stomach to harvest ingredients to increase the food reserves of the empty island. The Nautilus has also undergone an upgrade in the past few days, such as adding cloud shells and wind blast shells to increase concealment and maneuverability. While coming down from high altitude, the Nautilus hull was wrapped in fixed clouds to avoid being observed by passing ships or newsbirds. Crow looked at the record pointer and immediately ordered, "Go northeast 42 degrees. Copy that." The temporary crew members were busy performing their duties. On the huge chart in the cockpit, a magnetic four-pointed star is attached to an island. Stuka Island is written on the side of the island. Stuka Island is the destination of Noah's trip. This island is located on the second route of the park, adjacent to St. Poplar Island. For days later in the afternoon, the Nautilus arrived in the waters near Stuka Island. After putting away the Nautilus, a group of people in disguise passed through Arse wormhole and dug underground to enter Stuka Island. The reason for being so careful is because this island is the territory of the terrifying weapon Dahlia, who is a user with weapon fruit ability. Originally, Noah planned to kill this guy in the New World, but unfortunately there was a more easy-to-kill hot fruit, so he was allowed to escape. However, the other party was beaten up by Katakuri of the Big Mom Pirates in the New World a few days ago, and escaped back to the Paradise Lair. This news happened to be investigated by the intelligence agent of the Sabaody Islands. Naturally, Noah would not miss this opportunity. The entire Stuka Island has been transformed into a mechanical fortress by Dahlia, with a large number of mechanical processing factories densely packed inside, specializing in the production of arms. Judging from various information, this Dahlia's development of weapon fruits is pretty good, at least not as useless as Baby 5. After Dahlia purchased various weapons through the underground world, he used these weapons to imitate and improve them. The ability of the weapon fruit ability user allowed him to quickly understand the structure and working principles of various weapons. This is why Dahlia is called a terrifying weapon. The development of weapons in the pirate world is extremely strange. Some places still use flintlock guns, some places already use submachine guns and rocket launchers, and some even use laser cannons. Quinn, Gaji, Caesar, and others who were once in the same organization as Vegapunk developed a lot of weapons, many of which flowed into the underground black market. For example, the bazooka dog later owned by Barak Studio was most likely developed and manufactured by Vegapunk and others. Dahlia collected a lot of powerful weapons, which greatly improved his abilities. And according to the intelligence from the underground world, Dahlia is not alone, but has a skeleton army recruited from the country of Endless War, the country where Bullet was born, and 3 powerful subordinates. The reason why Noah and his party did not enter Stuka Island head-on was because among Dahlia's subordinates, there was a Paramecia devil fruit user named Sil, whose ability was later the slow fruit of Foxy the Silver Fox. The ability of this fruit can emit a special slow light. The person or object hit will instantly enter a slow state for 30 seconds. For a novice like Foxy, this fruit naturally has no performance, but on Dahlia's subordinates, combined with Dahlia's crazy bombing, the enemy can be wiped out in a few seconds. The 30 seconds of sluggishness is really fatal. Noah didn't want to be hit by this kind of ability. After sneaking into Stuka Island, Noah immediately summoned Shiki and asked him to directly use his abilities to control the entire Stuka Island, but he did not let the island float for the time being. This time he was going to attack a Shichibukai. Naturally, Noah would not use the previous vest, but planned to let the Golden Lion return to the world, and he could just disguise himself as a subordinate of the Golden Lion to avoid the problem of exposure. Taking into account the characteristics of the iron fruit, he only planned to use the ability of the fungus fruit this time, and Alii, Crow, and others also tried not to take action. However, Daz and Robin, who have never appeared before, can also take action. Through the underground tunnel dug by R, the group went directly to the underground of the mechanical castle where Dahlia and his men lived. However, Noah did not take action immediately, but waited for nightfall. Until the dead of night. Noah's knowledge combined with electromagnetic waves quickly locked onto the biological aura in the castle. Found it. After sharing the detection information through electromagnetic waves, a sly smile appeared on Shiki's face. He picked up several pairs of Sea Tower Stone handcuffs and cloud shells containing Sea Tower Stone clouds. He activated his Piao Piao fruit ability and controlled iron sand to hold the Sea Tower Stone handcuffs and cloud shells. Yunbei. Soon, under the control of Piao Piao fruit's ability, the rocks above separated to both sides, revealing a small passage leading directly to Seal's room. Sil, who was sleeping in his room, suddenly felt a sense of crisis when he saw something, and he woke up instantly. Unfortunately, it's too late. Piao Piao fruit is really convenient for dealing with enemies in confined spaces. The next moment, Walls and ceilings from all directions were squeezing towards Sith. Syl immediately launched his ability towards the wall. Slow the light. However, he didn't notice that a small hole appeared on the floor in the room, and clouds of sea tower stone were spitting into the room. After a while, Seal felt his body become weak. What's going on? As the amount of sea floor stone cloud he inhaled increased, his body became weaker and weaker, and the effect of slowing the light finally ended. He had no way to replenish it again, and could only watch Taisha holding the sea floor stone handcuffs on his hands. Seal capture completed. Wood, the animal type ability user in another room, was directly wrapped by the wall and then handcuffed. Dahlia is the only one left with abilities in the entire castle. At this time, Dahlia also felt something was wrong. However, in a closed environment like the castle, he was destined to rush into the street. Noah's conquerors directly impacted and suppressed, and the Piao Piao fruit controlled the surrounding walls and steel plates to squeeze. It only took a few tenths of a second to cause Dahlia to inhale a large amount of sea tower stone cloud, and then fell into a vicious cycle. In less than 10 seconds, Dahlia was like a dead dog, handcuffed by sea stone handcuffs, and her body was bound by iron sand. As for the other people in the castle, almost instantly, they were locked in place by the objects controlled by the Piao Piao fruit, waiting for Mary's review. People outside the castle did not know at this time that Dahlia and the core cadres had been wiped out. Chapter 82, Part 2. As for telephone bug communications, Noah also has the ability to interfere with electromagnetic interference, but the coverage is not as good as Joshua, but it is easy to block a castle. Seeing that things went so smoothly, Noah didn't use the backup plan he had prepared before. Even the Shiki card is not used as an open card. But this is normal. After all, this Dahlia was not among the later Shichibukai. He obviously died midway, which shows that his strength is very average. Originally, Noah planned to kill Doria in the name of the Golden Lion and then evacuate the entire Stuka Island. Now the plan needs to be revised. After all, compared to the industrial equipment and arms of Stuka Island, it is more valuable to place one of our own people among Shichibukai. Chapter 83, Part 1. Soon Noah was in the mechanical castle, transforming Dahlia and Syl into apostles. Chariot, Dahlia, weapon fruit, temperance. Seer, slowness fruit. The animal type ability user Wood was also transformed into an apostle, but it was the sequence of the minor arcana deck, and its fruit was the chameleon form of the lizard fruit. But as Wood was successfully transformed into an apostle, Noah found an unexpected surprise. Are you an agent of CP4? Yes, my lord, Wood said respectfully. It was really an accidental gain, but Dahlia was really careless and allowed someone from CP to lurk among the top management. No wonder he was removed later. At this moment, Mary walked in from outside. Brother, the result is not good. Among the 573 people inside the castle alone, there are 16 spies from various forces, of which 3 are from the world government, 1 is from the Marine Sword Agency, and 6 are from underground giants. 1 from the Don Quixote family, 1 from Barak Studio, 2 from the Big Mom Pirates, and 2 from the Revolutionary Army. Damn it. Noah was speechless. Dahlia's lair was open to air from all sides, and people and ghosts all came here to get involved. Crow also frowned. Lord Noah, if you let it go, Dahlia's situation will be very troublesome, and it can easily be secretly plotted by other forces. What do you think? Crow's eyes turned cold. Let's just stop doing it. As a user with the fungus fruit ability, destroy the entire Stuka Island. Let those spies and criminals die here in a reasonable manner, and transfer all the barely qualified personnel to the Storm Islands. Yes, this plan is very good. Noah is very satisfied with Crow's suggestion. The family not only needs combat power, but also staff who can coordinate and make suggestions. The current Stuka Island has basically been severely infiltrated by various forces. If it is not eradicated, it will be self-defeating. If Mary's ability is used to conduct secret screenings one by one, Stuka Island's population of nearly 30,000 people will not be able to complete the secret screenings in a month. Noah immediately made a decision. CLO, you will arrange this plan to completely retain the entire population of Stuka Island. Clear. Soon Crow began to mobilize his troops, and Noah began to block the phone bug communications on the entire Stuka Island, while releasing a large area of coma fungus. Less than half an hour. All creatures on Stuka Island fell into a coma. Wearing gas masks and protective clothing, Mary and others used the temporary isolation room built by Gardino to cooperate with Mary in auditing everyone. Due to time constraints, Mary used a cursory examination. A large number of people were asked together, asking whether they were from other forces and whether they had done any evil. As for other in-depth questions, you can wait for more time before conducting a second review. In just 6 hours, Mary initially completed the review of more than 30,000 people. All those who had problems were poisoned by Noah here, and a total of 4,736 people were executed. In particular, Dahlia's men were almost completely wiped out. These guys committed a lot of murders and arson. Except for some who were in better physical condition and were left as experimental subjects, the rest were executed. As for those spies, Noah will naturally not show mercy. Early in the morning, it was just dawn. Ali quickly transferred those who passed the review to the Storm Islands through the wormhole. In addition, in order to avoid exposing the truth, Crow transferred the bodies of those who had been eliminated from the West Blue Mafia from West Blue's ice house. After all, there were hundreds of thousands of unqualified members of the 5 major mafia families. These people were purged, but this part of the corpses was preserved because of the need to use corpses as disguises. These corpses were quickly covered with Noah's fungus, and their bodies quickly became covered with colorful mushrooms, eliminating their original appearance and characteristics. At the same time, Noah also sealed an important production line on Stuka Island, dropped a lot of scrap metal, and then detonated a bomb. As one of the few surviving spies, Wood immediately reported the incident to the CP4 commander. At this time, Dahlia had already escaped from Stuka Island with the remaining troops, completely jumping out of the previous predicament. 7 hours later, 3 Marine warships docked at the pier on Stuka Island. The person who carried out this mission was Lieutenant General Maynard, who was stationed nearby. Through his telescope, he saw the devastated port area. In addition to the craters caused by the explosion, there were still burning flames and mushrooms all over the mountains and plains. It's so scary. Maynard was frightened by the situation in front of him. Soon, sailors wearing protective suits and gas masks entered the core area of Stuka Island. There were corpses covered with mushrooms everywhere, as well as mechanical equipment that had been damaged to pieces. After a little calculation, these Marines knew that the entire population of Stuka Island was almost destroyed, so they hurriedly evacuated. Based on the Navy's observations and photos, Maynard quickly wrote a report to Malinfando and suggested that Malinfando list Stuka Island as a restricted area. After all, judging from the investigation by the Navy, the mushrooms on the island are still multiplying, and the animals brought there for testing began to have poisoning reactions in less than an hour. It is obvious that the island has been abandoned. This is also one of Noah's purposes. Although Stuka Island was seemingly destroyed, it did not mean that he really gave up here. After all, he has the ability of fungus fruit and can restore the ecology of Stuka Island to normal at any time. Other side. Inside the Fleet Admiral office in Marineford, Sora communicated with the 5 elders for more than 10 minutes. Although both parties were very dissatisfied with Dahlia's series of failures, but now that there is no suitable replacement, they can only continue to acquiesce that Dahlia remains in the Shichibukai ranks. As for the spies lost by Marine and CP, the 5 elders and Sora didn't care. After all, there is no such thing as an immortal spy agency. The next day, the World Economic News reported the story of Dahlia's tragic victory over the fungus fruit user and the destruction of Stuka Island. This news made those forces who planted spies on Stuka Island feel as sick as eating flies, but they can only accept this result. After all the forces never imagined that Dahlia would destroy the entire Stuka Island in order to eliminate spies. However, with the destruction of Stuka Island, the price of arms in the global underground world immediately soared, and for a time the intensity of wars everywhere dropped a lot. After all, at this point in time, the Don Quixote family has not yet controlled the kingdom of Dressrosa, Mingu has not hooked up with Kaido, and the underground arms market is still dominated by Dahlia's family. However, as the terrifying weapon Dahlia fell into silence, it is estimated that the Don Quixote family will speed up its march into the Grand Line. Noah didn't care too much about this result. Because the Don Quixote family is a power that is neither superior nor inferior, they are just cattle and sheep at the mercy of others in the New World. Chapter 83, Part 2. If the time is right, Noah will not take care of Kaido and Charlotte Linlin, and will directly kill Mingu and Tang Quixote. The Keed Family. Chapter 84, Part 1. Inside the Nautilus. Noah and Robin are looking through some information about the park. Stuka Island will definitely not be developed again in the near future, so Dahlia and others must find a suitable place to stay. And Noah's goal is Turtle Island. Soon Robin found a piece of possibly relevant information in the library abstract catalog. Mr. Noah, please summon the book number 367102. Noah summoned book number 367102 from the card library. The cover reads, A Guts Travels. Robin looked through it for a while and found the records about Turtle Island. In the year 1105 of the sea calendar, when I was passing by the waters of Buru Island, a sudden storm blew the ship away from its original route. The shape of this island is like a huge turtle shell. According to local residents, the legend of this island is that it is a giant turtle. There is also a song passed down. Shake and shake, shake and shake, the king of the sea, the golden crown. As soon as Noah heard this song, he knew he had found his target. It should be this island. He found the location of Bulu Island on the chart on the side. This island is the 6th node island of Paradise's 5th route, about 293 kilometers away from Longchain Island. Since the specific location is not marked in the travel notes, and the island is non-magnetic, it cannot be located through the record pointer and the permanent pointer. It can only be located through a special turtle pointer. But this didn't bother Noah, so he took out the tarot cards and started divination. The probability of southeast of Bulu Island is 0. The probability of northeast of Buru Island is 14%. The probability of heading 63 degrees northeast of Bulu Island is 98%. Seeing this result, Noah immediately adjusted his direction. 2 days later, in a calm sea, an island with an outline like a turtle shell appeared at the feet of Noah and others. Sure enough, it looks like a turtle shell. Daz compared the outline of the island. Go down and have a look. Soon, Noah and his party appeared directly on a beach on the edge of the island, very close to the small town on the island. As they entered the streets of the town, the residents of the island looked at Noah and others with great surprise. After all, Turtle Island is not on the magnetic route and has no magnetism itself. Few ships will approach here. Soon a short, middle-aged woman, escorted by several tall and strong men, walked towards the crowd. The middle-aged woman smiled and asked, Dear guests, I am Loba, the mayor of Turtle Town. Did you deviate to our place because of the weather? No, we came to this island specifically, Noah replied with the same smile. Luaba didn't know how to answer for a while. However, the faces of the several strong men around her became unkind, and their hands touched their weapons one after another. Don't be so nervous. I'm going to take action. You have no power to fight back. As soon as he finished speaking, Noah's conquerors was slightly leaked. Luaba and others suddenly broke out in cold sweat on their foreheads. Luaba, who was very knowledgeable about current affairs, quickly asked with an apologetic smile, Sir, is there anything you need our help with? I would like to learn more about the legend of this island. Mayor Luaba should be able to introduce it to us, right? Haha, convenient and convenient. At this moment, a boy driving a robot appeared on the street not far away, roaring and rushing towards Noah. You damn intruders, destroy me. Rudget. Stop it. Ma'am, don't be nervous. Noah instantly controlled the electromagnetic field and tightly controlled the robot. Rudget in the cockpit tried his best to pull the control levers and buttons, but the robot did not move at all. In an instant, a burst of iron sand pulled Rudget out of the cockpit. The panicked blond boy with glasses, about 14 or 15 years old, was very shocked by Noah's power. Sir, Rudget is still young. Please forgive him. But Noah refused. Blindly doting is not a good way to educate. He has a good talent in mechanical manufacturing and research and development. In an environment with such poor resources, he can still create this kind of robot. There is a lot of room for development in the future, but it needs to be sharpened, Crow. He will leave it to you. No problem. I will definitely let him know what is the foundation of this world. A hint of malicious teasing flashed through Crow's eyes under his glasses. Seeing this scene, Luaba couldn't help but feel worried on her face. Unfortunately, she knew the nature of this world, which is that the weak eat the strong. There are no strong people on Turtle Island. Facing Noah and his party, they can only choose to swallow their anger. Soon, under the leadership of Loba, the group entered the ancient ruins in the center of the island. In fact, under Noah's electromagnetic wave induction, he had already touched this ruins clearly, and he even felt the powerful life breath of this big turtle. But Noah also discovered a problem with the island turtle. The huge body brings huge strength, but also brings a huge burden. With a diameter of more than 5 kilometers and a height of about 1,800 meters, as well as the thick rocks, soil, and trees covering the surface of this island turtle, it is difficult for it to move. Even if it can move, it can only be done within a short period of time. When it comes to biological modification, Luo and Andy are the experts. Noah called them over here. Luo used his surgical ability and knowledge to carefully check the island turtle's physical condition. Noah's family, this turtle's condition is far more serious than imagined. Its body has been severely malnourished due to not eating for a long time. If it is not treated, it is estimated that it will die from body organ failure in less than 30 years. Can biomodification be used to improve it? Luo thought for a while and nodded. Yes, but it will take a few months. Then you can help here for a while. Other things can be postponed. After discussing the treatment plan for the island turtle, Noah and his team also arranged for the residents of Turtle Town. After all, this island turtle is going to be transformed into a mobile fortress. Naturally, these low-strength civilians cannot stay here, and let Alii take them to the Storm Islands for resettlement. Dahlia, Sis, Wood and others also stayed on Turtle Island and began to transform the entire island into a fortress. The treatment and transformation of island turtles are carried out almost simultaneously. Luo transplanted part of the stomach baron's organs into the island turtle, allowing it to capture surrounding marine life through these vine tentacles to obtain food. At the same time, some of the organs of the empty island shells were transplanted into the island turtles to enhance their concealment, mobility, and attack power. Dahlia used the weapons and steel produced in the Storm Islands industrial zone to modify the turtle shell. Various laser cannons, electromagnetic guns, ordinary artillery, and machine guns were used to form small turrets on the turtle shell. The core area serves as a weapons manufacturing arsenal, which can produce various artillery shells, rockets, and bullets. Moreover, these modifications have been designed for submarine diving. Chapter 84, Part 2. After all, the height of the island turtle is only about 1,800 meters, and it can be snorkeled in some sea areas, such as the Sabaody Islands, where the sea depth is between 5,000 and 12,000 meters. The depth of the sea areas where the 4 windless zones are located is even more exaggerated, with depths generally ranging from 20,000 to 30,000 meters. The windless zone serves as the nest of Poseidon species. Those large Poseidon species are often several kilometers in size and have a depth of 20,000 to 30,000 meters, which is just right for them. This is also the reason why large Poseidon species rarely appear in the 4 seas. After all, the depth of the 4 seas is generally more than 10,000 meters, making it difficult for large Poseidon species to move around. Chapter 85, Part 1. Noah leaving Turtle Island. Driving the Nautilus, quickly approached the Auckland Kingdom on the 3rd route of the park. The reason why he went to this kingdom was because the divination results this month showed that there was a devil fruit in the Kingdom of Auckland. 3 days later, the icy Auckland Island. Noah and his team wore down jackets and braved the snowstorm to ski to a small town on Auckland Island. Auckland Island, where the Kingdom of Auckland is located, is a winter island. Except for the area near the crater in the west, where food can be grown for about half a year, the weather is freezing and snowy at other times. The location where Noah and others landed is located in the uninhabited land in the southeast of Auckland Island, about 46 kilometers away from Auckland City near the crater. Just after everyone passed through a coniferous forest, they saw a group of wooden houses and a sailboat anchored in the bay. Regarding the arrival of Noah and others, the owner of the wooden house immediately opened the door and rushed out, looking at Noah with an evil look. "Who are you? Are you another pirate who wants to take back the flag?" As soon as he finished speaking, the middle-aged man, who was as fat as a balloon, felt red heat rising from all over his body. In this state, Noah looked at the middle-aged man in surprise. Before he could continue, the middle-aged man rushed over. "Dad, come on." A pair of young twins shouted, waving flags not far away. There was also a boy with a pointed chin and a girl with light purple hair, who were also shouting, "Dad, defeat these pirates. Hee. I wonder if there is any treasure." Unfortunately, they will soon be disappointed. Noah squeezed it gently with both hands, and the surrounding ice and snow suddenly turned into a terrifying giant ice python, attacking the middle-aged man. This ability? The middle-aged man's eyes changed. Soon his body was surrounded by ice and snow, but he did not panic. As his body temperature soared rapidly, the surrounding ice and snow quickly melted into water vapor. Boom! Soon the water vapor expanded and exploded, exploding the surrounding ice. Just the next second, ice and snow wrapped it up again. The two of them just took care of each other and fought from noon to evening. On the ice field as the sun sets, the middle-aged man who has once again melted the ice and snow is already sweating profusely. His chest is rising and falling, and he is breathing heavily. But Noah showed no signs of fatigue. So what if the body temperature can reach 10,000 degrees Celsius? The devil fruit ability requires physical strength, especially maintaining a high-temperature state will increase the physical consumption in a straight line. Noah's Piao Piao fruit ability consumes very little physical energy. According to this rhythm, he can withstand even 10 days and 10 nights. In fact, the reason why the fight lasted so long was because Noah was deliberately joking. Otherwise, a Conqueror's hockey impact and a combo of electromagnetic cannons could kill the opponent instantly. At this time, the middle-aged man finally realized that Noah was playing tricks on him, but he was unable to resist. Hoo-hoo, I won't admit defeat. Suddenly, the middle-aged man suddenly rushed towards his 5 children, shouting as he ran, "Children, hoo-hoo, run away? What are you running from?" Crow was already standing behind the twins, raising his glasses and asked. In an instant, the middle-aged man felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave. Soon the exhausted middle-aged man was tied up by Noah's ice python, and Crow also kindly persuaded the middle-aged man's 5 children to stay. In the wooden house, Noah pushed the middle-aged man onto a chair nearby. "Can we sit down and talk now?" "What?" The middle-aged man was stunned for a moment, and then asked in disbelief, "You beat me up for a long time just to talk to me? I don't like to communicate with people who have a bad temper, so I'm trying to cool you down. You don't mind, right?" Haha. The middle-aged man's face was distorted, and he clenched his fists. If he couldn't beat the opponent, he really wanted to beat this B*************** D with one fist. Noah didn't tolerate the other party and just threw a ball of seawater over him. The middle-aged man, whose heart was chilled by the seawater, suddenly became even weaker. "Are you calmer now? Do you need to stay awake?" "No need, no need." The middle-aged man is now very eager to be a handsome man. Soon the middle-aged man told everything about his family. The middle-aged man's name is Donacino, and he is a user with the ability of the Paramecia heat fruit. To be precise, this fruit should be called the heat body fruit, which is different from the heat fruit that Noah recovered from Owen before. Owen's hot fruit should be called the heat fruit, because the heat energy in its body can be released. On the other hand, Tanakino's hot fruit can only heat his body, but it can regulate his body temperature between 1 and 10,000 degrees Celsius. Both fruits have their own merits. Aquino's 5 children are, the eldest son, Don Campechino, 22 years old, the second son, Don Brandy, 22 years old, the third son, Don Haklu, 15 years old, the eldest daughter, Donna Lubaru, 18 years old, second daughter Don Lilu, 10 years old. Their family is a pirate flag hunter active in the park, a special type of bounty hunter. Therefore, Noah did not kill him, but instead came up with the idea of recruiting him. In fact, the 41-year-old Don Aquino has good potential at this time. If he undergoes scientific training and adds the Noah family's blood potion, it is more than enough to reach the level of an elite lieutenant general, not to mention the general level. And his 5 children are not bad. If they have the right devil fruit, their strength will increase by leaps and bounds. Faced with Noah's solicitation, Aquino struggled for a while and finally agreed. After all, the scene where Noah easily crushed him just now was still vivid in his mind. As long as he didn't think about himself, he also had to think about his children. After Aquino agreed to join, Noah told the other party his true identity and asked Alii to send the other party's 5 children to a training camp for 1 year. Whether it was as a hostage or Noah's sincere training, Aquino knew that he had no excuse to refuse. Noah also asked Aquino if he had found any devil fruits on Auckland Island. Aquino shook his head. "Sir Noah, if I had discovered the devil fruit, I would have given it to the children long ago. My hot fruit was also encountered in my hometown of Whiskey Island." "Are you from Whiskey Island?" "Well, but I left there a few years ago because I found that crocodile guy was operating nearby, and I was worried that the children would be affected. So I left my hometown." "I see." The group rested one night at the cabin camp. Early the next morning, Noah took them on the journey to find the devil fruit. Since it is an inhabited island, Noah cannot use the ability of Piao Piao fruit to find it casually. He can only rely on sight, color, and electromagnetic wave scanning. However, color perception and electromagnetic wave induction have limitations. For example, things hidden underground are difficult to detect. Chapter 85, Part 2. Now Noah just hoped that the fruit would not be buried underground. Chapter 86, Part 1. January 21st, 1508 in the Haiyuan calendar. Except for returning to Rum Kingdom for the annual meeting, Noah and his team spent the rest of the time on Auckland Island looking for the devil fruit. This is the normal situation for Noah when he is looking for devil fruit. Even if he uses tarot cards for divination, he may not be able to get a very accurate location. And even if the exact location is obtained, it is only the location at the moment of divination. Sometimes the devil fruit will be moved by people, animals, or natural disasters. He has been able to determine that the fruit is not in the crater area of Auckland Island, but in the ice sheet area covered in ice and snow. Facing the ice sheet with an area of nearly 200 square kilometers, Noah also felt a headache for a while. Suddenly he remembered a person, and immediately turned around and ordered, "Ali, go and bring Luo here." Luo? He should still be over there on Turtle Island, right? I'll be there right away. A few minutes later, the wormhole opened again. R and Luo jumped out of the wormhole. Noah family, what's the emergency? At what stage is the renovation of Turtle Island? The transplantation of predatory vines has been completed. The island turtle's body has recovered a lot of vitality with the supplement of a large amount of food. The next step is to replace the plants on the turtle shell with symbiotic plants that are connected to the island turtle. Further enhance the island turtle's energy source. Noah nodded. Good job. Luo scratched Madara's fur hat and said, "It's my honor to be able to help Noah's family. I called you here this time to use your ability to find a fruit hidden under the glacier. Looking for devil fruit?" Luo thought for a while and quickly responded, "Should we use a CT scan?"
Yes.
Noah casually took out a few devil fruits from the card. You first use CT to scan these devil fruits as a reference for their physical properties. No problem. Luo held the devil fruit in both hands and quickly scanned these devil fruits carefully with CT scans several times, recording the status of these fruits in the CT scan. Noah, it's ready? Then let's get started. Luo concentrated. Operating room, maximized. The operating room immediately covered a radius of 1,500 meters. Enhanced CT. After a while, Luo opened his eyes regretfully. There is no sign of devil fruit here. Robin drew a cross at this location on the detailed map of Auckland Island. How many more times can you use this level of scanning? Luo estimated his physical strength. I can probably use it about 80 times today. 80 times? That's almost enough. After all, this glacier is only about 200 square kilometers. Maybe we can find it soon. Soon Luo started scanning the area step by step. It wasn't until the 17th scan that Luo suddenly opened his eyes, with a strange look in his eyes. What did you find? Noah's house. There are many outlines of buildings in the glacier below. Building outline? What's the exact depth? Luo estimated for a moment. Probably below 142 meters. This depth? Noah raised his eyebrows, and then his body entered the state of high-heat steel. The glacier under his feet melted rapidly and was directly evaporated into water vapor by the high heat. Soon a hole appeared in the glacier. It wasn't until he reached a depth of about 145 meters into the glacier that he encountered hard rock. He and Akino joined forces to continue melting the ice around them. As the ice underneath melted rapidly, the ruins buried inside also revealed their true colors. In order to prevent the top from collapsing in the face of ice, Noah manipulated iron sand to form the ceiling and pillars. Robin looked at some of the statues and ancient texts in the ruins and quickly translated the contents. This is the sacrificial temple of the ancient Ankuta people. According to the records of the O'Hara Library, the kingdom of Ankuta was once a prosperous country, famous for its gem processing, and once carved the famous Tears of Angels. Noah saw the altitude that was significantly lower than the sea level by more than 50 meters, and already knew that this so-called Ankula kingdom was most likely submerged in the annihilating sea invasion 800 years ago. Part of the written records of the temple here talks about the god of gems they believe in, as well as how to offer sacrifices and various rituals. Can you find where the capital of the Ankula kingdom is? Robin continued to check the contents on the surrounding buildings, and soon found the relevant contents. Every April 9th, the king of the kingdom of Ankula must kneel down and worship the god of gemstones all the way west from the capital to the gemstone temple. In other words, the capital city is to the east of the gem temple. Ali reminded, "Brother, do you want to dig up these gems?" No rush. Soon Noah and Akino opened a passage all the way east. After advancing about 4.3 kilometers to the east, we encountered the deeper royal city of Ankula. This city was almost located at about 110 meters above sea level. No wonder it was directly submerged. After entering the royal city, there are many jewelry in the buildings here. It is indeed the legendary country of gems, especially the palace. The building is inlaid with all kinds of dazzling gems. Since it was probably frozen into ice soon after being submerged by seawater, the bodies of many Ankula people are still relatively intact, with almost no signs of bones turning into white bones. Suddenly Luo reminded. Noah's family found the devil fruit. It's in the palace. After a while, Luo used the space ability in the operating room to take out the devil fruit hidden inside. Huh, this fruit is so strange. Robin looked at the devil fruit in front of her with a trace of confusion on her face. After all, she had read the devil fruit illustrated book. Noah also didn't recognize this devil fruit. He took out the Book of Devils and flipped through it from beginning to end, but still couldn't find any record that matched the characteristics of this devil fruit. Robin was also very surprised. How could this happen? Suddenly Noah thought deeply. This place was destroyed 800 years ago. If this fruit has been frozen here 800 years ago, it means that there is no record of the devil fruit illustrated book 800 years ago. Robin also reacted. That's true. The first officially published devil fruit illustrated book was published in 1247. Perhaps the world government has the most complete illustration of devil fruit, but they will not publish such content publicly. Noah thought for a while, and then gave a few instructions in R's ear. A few minutes later, Ali came over with an experimental subject whose frontal lobe had been cut off, and then he brought Mary over. Noah cut open the devil fruit and stuffed a piece of pulp into the subject's mouth. Mary immediately sensed his mind. This kind of experimental subject without emotions could not block Mary's perception of seeing, hearing, and color. Soon she knew the ability of this devil fruit. Brother, this devil fruit is Logia's rock fruit. What? Logia? Everyone was very surprised. There is such a fruit? Crow was a little shocked. Rock fruit? Noah thought about the development direction of this fruit. This fruit is obviously the superior of the stone fruit and the sand fruit. After all, sand is essentially a small rock. Chapter 86, Part 2. And he took a look at the huge amount of gems in the palace. It is very likely that someone in the Ankula kingdom used the rock fruit to produce a large amount of raw gemstones, which made this kingdom a country of gems. Soon Noah made a decision. He directly borrowed Becky's castle fruit and recovered the rock fruit from the experimental subject. You can read more daily new novels on fictionzone.net. Both sites share the same login details, so you don't need to sign up again. Chapter 87, Part 1. Ari, bring Vic here. When Ari heard his instructions, he immediately understood what Noah was thinking. I'll bring him over right away. A few minutes later, R and Vic jumped out of the wormhole. Vic, who was almost 3.3 meters tall, was much taller than everyone else. He asked with some confusion, Brother, there seems to be no enemies around, right? Why did you ask me to come here? Of course it's a good thing. This is Logia's rock fruit. You eat it? Noah handed the rock fruit in his hand to Vic. Logia? Don't refuse. You should feel the bottleneck now, right? Vic immediately lowered his head. He really felt the bottleneck. At this time, his age had reached 17 years old. After 7 years of persistent training, coupled with the various resources of the Noah family, his strength has now reached the elite lieutenant general level. He has reached the elite lieutenant general level with his physical skills and domineering power alone, which is already very powerful for his age. It's a pity that Vic was already this strong at the beginning of last year, but 1 year later, his progress has been very slow. Even through hard training that consumes his life force, his progress is still slow. Obviously, this is the end of Vic's body's potential. As for the vampire fruit that Noah prepared for him, Vic never asked to eat it because he felt that vampires were not suitable for hardcore physical masters. After Noah knew that the fruit in front of him was the rock fruit, he felt that Vic was very suitable for this fruit. Vic struggled for a while, but still picked up the rock fruit. He knew that he could not continue willfully. The family needed more general-level combat power to deal with future enemies. He ate the grape-shaped rock fruit without any expression, leaving nothing behind. The moment he ate the yin-yin fruit, a powerful shock wave suddenly erupted in his body. It's Conqueror's Haki? Noah was very surprised. He didn't expect that Vic had such qualifications. But soon he discovered a strange phenomenon. That is, Vic's Conqueror's Haki was also red and blended with Noah's Conqueror's Haki. As the two Conquerors blended, Noah felt Vic's will from it. It was pure belief, self-spiritual suggestion day and night, physical training day after day, and the evolutionary power of the IQ component that allowed him to awaken the Red Conquerors. I see, Conquerors can be trained in this way. Obviously, Vic's situation gave Noah a very accurate answer. Pure faith, a strong body, and the evolutionary power of the IQ component serve as a primer, and it is possible to inspire a person's conquerors. Of course, this is also inseparable from Noah's ideological education. Under normal circumstances, among the pirate groups, Each pirate group may have a conqueror's domineering leader, but it is difficult to have 2 or 3 conquerors. For example, the Whitebeard pirates include Whitebeard, Blackbeard, who leads without sending, Ace, who gives up on his own, and Kazuki Odin, who semi-quits. Big Mom pirates, Charlotte Linlin, Charlotte Katakuri, protect family. Beast pirates, Kaido, Yamato, compared to Odin. The red-haired pirates, Shanks. In other words, the pirate group's organizational model is naturally not suitable for the birth of a large number of conquerors awakened haki. The reason is that the captain's belief must be that the crew must be of the same mind as him. In a pirate group, only the captain is qualified to pursue the so-called One Piece dream. This dream cannot accommodate the ambition of a second conqueror's haki awakener. For example, Ace. He boarded Whitebeard's ship and always wanted Whitebeard to become One Piece. In this case, how could his conquerors be powerful? Between the king and the king, there is no room for 2 tigers in the same mountain, unless one party is willing to surrender. But those who have surrendered to conqueror's haki awakening are destined not to be powerful. Just like Doflamingo, who has always been submissive to Kaido and Big Mom, the conqueror's haki can only be improved. The Noah family is different, especially the core members of the family. They have received Noah's ideological education. Although they recognize and respect Noah as the eldest brother, they have the belief to change the world. The dream of creating a whole new world, enough to accommodate countless conquerors' haki awakeners. After all, there can only be One Piece, but there can be countless saviors. This is the dream gap. Noah's dream has room for everyone. One Piece's dream can only be yourself. With the awakening of Vic's conqueror's domineering power, Noah's inner belief became stronger. Vic, who had just woken up from a dream, saw Aquino struggling to hold on, and knew that his conquerors had suppressed the opponent. This was very normal. After all, Aquino was forced to join, and he had only joined for more than a month. Naturally, he could not resonate with Noah's soul, and thus be immune to conquerors' oppression. Vic put away the conquerors and immediately said respectfully to Noah, "Brother, thank you very much for your teaching. Don't underestimate yourself. Your efforts are also the cornerstone of today. Now that you have obtained this power, you must make good use of it and strive for a new utopia." Yes, this is also my belief. Vic's eyes were extremely firm. Is this the power of faith? Robin looked at Vic with some surprise. She was not familiar with Vic. She only knew that he was Noah's childhood friend and one of the earliest members of the Noah family. Noah turned his head and looked at the others. The awakening of conqueror's domineering spirit is the condensation of belief. As long as you agree with the dream of creating an utopia from the heart, plus a strong body, and the evolutionary power of the IQ potion, it is possible for you to awaken. Conqueror's domineering. Is everything okay? Crow thought thoughtfully. Noah looked at Crow. To be precise, the purer the belief, the easier it is to awaken. You are very smart, but being too smart can easily lead to complex thoughts, which reduces the probability of you awakening conquerors. Crow immediately understood what Noah said. In other words, a more innocent person, coupled with a pure dream and the stimulation of IQ potion, may awaken conqueror's domineering power. It seems that it is indeed difficult for me to awaken. This is also a psychological problem that is hard to avoid for a strong consultant type. Typical overthinking. Once the mind is complicated, the belief will not be pure. This is why, among the members of the Noah family, Vic is the second conqueror's haki awakener after Noah. As Vic awakened conqueror's haki, Noah also began to order everyone to loot all the treasures of the Ankula kingdom. Noah focused on collecting gold and silver, while Robin focused on books, statues, murals, etc. that were frozen. Vic also began to use abilities and collect various gems. One characteristic of the rock fruit is that it can only produce ordinary rocks at the beginning, but if there are samples of other stones, they can be recorded. The various gemstones left here include almost all the gemstones in the pirate world, including rubies, sapphires, emeralds, crystals, amber, beeswax, diamonds, jade, etc. After Vic uses his ability to copy the composition of these gems, he can use his ability to imitate these gems. Chapter 87, Part 2. As long as there are corresponding elemental components around, he can copy artificial gems that are exactly the same as natural gems. It took Noah and his team more than a week to plunder the entire Ankula Kingdom ruins. Among them, gold and silver alone are worth more than 300 billion belly. As for the gems, with Vic here, if the Noah family wants, they can pave the floor with gems. Chapter 88, Part 1. Noah and his team pass through the wormhole and return to the Storm Islands, which is convenient for cultivation. As Chinchan Island is specially used for cultivation, Vic is currently trying out the various abilities of the yin-yang fruit here. Logia's basic ability is elementalization, and the rock fruit can be turned into various stones. However, if the physical immunity of elementalization is taken into account, it will be relatively practical to use sand as the material basis for elementalization. Vic didn't think too much about elementalization and instead transformed his body into diamond. As a sparring partner, Crow's sharp claws silently hit Vic's body instantly. Bang, bang, bang. The collision between the claws and Vic's body caused a series of sparks. Crow then covered his claws with armament-colored hockey. As a result, it was still impossible to break through the defense. Obviously, Vic's diamond body has very high defense strength. But the next moment, Akino, who was in a state of high fever, hit Vic's body with a fist. In an instant, part of the diamonds on Vic's body was ignited, which forced him to transform into sand elements to avoid it. Noah in the distance reminded, "This is the weakness of diamonds. High temperatures exceeding 800 degrees Celsius are enough to ignite diamonds, so you need to develop other types of rock armor." Next, Vic tried his abilities in creation and shaping. Huge and hard rock giants, or extremely difficult rock and sand pythons, or sand with the ability to absorb water similar to crocodile. As the upper level of shasha fruit, yin-yang fruit can cover all the abilities of shasha fruit. After trying these abilities, the next step is Noah's various ideas. I saw a ruby cannon derived from Vic's body. A large number of gear-shaped carbide inside the cannon cavity began to rub rapidly under the moisture absorbed by the sand. Soon the energy inside the cannon cavity surged rapidly and converged on the ruby laser. A laser burst out from the muzzle, sizzling. In an instant, the mountain in the distance was directly penetrated. Ruby laser cannon, this is one of the applications of science. The next idea was to see a stream of dust coming out of Vic's body, and then the dust spread rapidly in all directions. What is this? Crow's expression was a warning of danger. Noah used a strong magnetic field to block the spreading dust and avoid being approached by the dust. At the same time, he explained to Akino and Crow, "This is asbestos dust, a small needle-shaped rock that is difficult to observe with the naked eye. If a large amount of asbestos dust is breathed into the body, it will quickly cause physical diseases, similar to Fervan's platinum lead disease. Should my body be immune to high fever?" Akino asked with some uncertainty. To be precise, your body with high fever can be immune to most viruses, toxins, bacteria, and harmful components. The key is to see whether your physical strength can withstand it. Akino suddenly remembered his previous experience of being knocked out by Noah, which made him understand that devil fruit abilities also require physical support. After experimenting with asbestos dust, Vic turned the dust into ordinary rocks. If he does not transform the asbestos dust, this training ground will be completely destroyed. Once someone trains here, it is easy to inhale the asbestos settled on the surface. Immediately afterwards, Vic transformed his body into opal again. By constantly adjusting the surface structure of the opal, his body gradually disappeared into the surrounding environment. What's even more frightening is that since Vic is a rock fruit user, he can easily disguise himself as a rock and blend into the environment, making it impossible for ordinary people to detect its existence. Crow's sense of perception was ineffective, and he did not notice any trace of Vic's existence. However, with Noah's level of observation, you can feel vague fluctuations, especially after entering the electromagnetic wave amplification mode. This feeling will be clearer. After trying the ambient color invisibility of opal, Vic transformed his body into a stone armor composed of moissanite. Akino, go and test the high-temperature resistance limit of this armor. No problem. Akino's fist was filled with red heat and hit Vic's armor with one fist. Soon Akino gave a data. Yes, it can withstand high temperatures below 2,700 degrees Celsius, and the hardness is a little lower than the diamond armor just now. Obviously, this temperature is enough. As long as you don't encounter heat fruits, burning fruits, thunder fruits, sparkling fruits, and awakened rock fruits, this set of moissanite armor can basically withstand most masters. Attack. In addition to the sparkling fruit and the unawakened rockberry fruit, the other four fruits are in the Noah family. Those who can break through Vic's defense can only be those who master Conqueror's entanglement and armed internal destruction. But Vic is not a fool, so naturally he will not just stand and be beaten. Immediately afterwards, Noah summoned the historical text tablet found from the Shantor ruins from the card. Vic immediately understood Noah's thoughts. He touched the stone slab with his hands. After a while, he opened his eyes. Brother, I can control this stone, but I can't make it. Is it the composition of sea-floor stone that affects it? There is indeed a special substance that is interfering with my ability. Noah actually had some speculations in his mind. If the historical text was so easily destroyed, the world government would have destroyed it long ago. Obviously, the normal superpowers of devil fruit cannot be used on the historical tablets. Of course, this is not absolute. For example, a kino, whose body temperature can reach 10,000 degrees Celsius, can evaporate the stone tablets of history through extreme high temperatures. Under that terrifying temperature, any stone would be decomposed and evaporated. It seems that in order to increase your strength, you must plan something. Vic was confused. Brother, what is it? A special mineral that exists in the New World, dynamite rock. Dynamite rock? It only takes a fist-sized dynamite rock to cause destruction within a few hundred meters of the surrounding area. Hundreds of dynamite rocks of this size can destroy a small island. Crow raised his glasses. This thing shouldn't be easy to get, right? Yes, this thing is strictly controlled by the world government and Marine. Currently, only Marine executives and the 5 elders know its specific storage location. But Noah immediately laughed again. But this thing is a mineral after all. Since it is a mineral, there must be a place of origin. Through the intelligence of the underground world, I have locked 5 suspected islands of origin. Even if the world government and Marine completely mine the dynamite rock, there must be small or veins that have not been discovered in the remaining mining areas. As a user with the rock fruit ability, Vic can easily find the mineral veins buried deep in the strata without having to look for the storage location of the finished explosive rock. In half a month, we will set off for New World. Yes. Vic stayed to continue practicing his fruit abilities. Noah and his team are preparing for their trip to the New World in half a month. After all, New World is different from a paradise. Chapter 88, Part 2. Now the 3 sea emperors who stand in a tripartite position have divided up nearly 40% of New World sea area. Among the remaining sea areas, the world government and its affiliated countries control about 27%. Other sea areas are either semi-independent pirate groups like Beehive Island, Elbaf, one of the world's powerful countries, or uninhabited areas with extremely harsh environments. You can read more daily new novels on fictionzone.net. Both sites share the same login details, so you don't need to sign up again. Chapter 89, Part 1. February 3rd, 1508 in the Hyuan calendar. Over the Thunder God Island in the New World, a wormhole opened in Cumulus Emperor, and then Noah and others filed out. Then Noah released the Nautilus, and Vic inserted his hands into the shell of the Nautilus. Instantly, a layer of opal covered the shell of the Nautilus, and then the Nautilus disappeared into the air. After everyone boarded the ship, the Nautilus quickly flew in one direction. Crow looked at the 3 permanent pointers on his hand, always observing the flight route to prevent it from deviating from the route. The purpose of this trip is the Sea of Mists in New World. According to the analysis of various intelligence, there are many islands in this sea area, but they have always been under the strict control of the world government. The reason why Noah suspected that this was the origin of dynamite rock was because of a piece of news. That was in 1476, a transport fleet of the world government in the Sea of Mist was attacked by a powerful pirate force. That attack caused a terrifying tsunami in the surrounding waters. Afterwards, Marine mobilized General Bailey of the Blood Hand to stay in the Sea of Mists. It was not until around 1488 that the Blood Hands left the Sea of Mists. Under what circumstances will a tsunami break out? There are only a few answers, either Whitebeard's shock fruit, a violent explosion, or Uranus's blow. First of all, Uranus's attack can be ruled out, because at this time Vegapunk has not created the Virgin Flame. Uranus's energy supply is definitely not enough, and Dim will not use Uranus casually. And both Whitebeard and Dynamite Rock are possible, because the pirate force that attacked the transport fleet was the famous Rocks Pirates, and Whitebeard was among the Rocks Pirates at the time. Coupled with Marine's reaction afterwards, Noah knew that there must be something very important to the world government in the Sea of Mist. A week later, the Nautilus entered the outskirts of the Sea of Mists. Noah used electromagnetic wave amplification to see and hear hockey, and soon captured several monitoring outposts set up by Marine in the sea area. Apparently, the world government has not completely given up on the Sea of Mists. However, this kind of monitoring outpost is basically of no use to the Noah family who can fly. Soon the Nautilus entered the depths of the Sea of Mist from high altitude. After finding the first uninhabited island, the Nautilus landed on the island from high altitude. It was very quiet on this island. Noah didn't even sense traces of large animals, and the plants grew sparsely, looking malnourished. But Noah soon discovered some ruins on the island. Crow glanced at the rusty Madara mine rails and the pile of rocks at the end of the rails. It's a mining tunnel, but it was all destroyed by the explosion. Leave it to me. Vic inserted his hands into the ground and began to assimilate the surrounding rocks. After more than 10 minutes, Vic shook his head. Not here. There is an ordinary copper mine ruins down there. Then go to the next island. The Nautilus sets sail again. There are many islands in the Sea of Mist, probably more than 30. Noah and his team searched 8 islands in a row, but no dynamite rock was found. The 9th desert island is a very small island with an area of less than 20,000 square meters. Vic didn't pay too much attention. Just as a routine, he sensed the situation through the underground rock formations. But soon he opened his eyes. Brother, I found something. What have you discovered? Noah originally had no hope for this island. There is a huge whirlpool-shaped cavity on the seabed on the northeast side of the island. I sense some unstable rocks underground, a bit like the dynamite rocks you described. Isn't that right? We'll find out just by taking some samples. Vic nodded, and then manipulated the surrounding rocks to take out some unstable rocks buried more than 500 meters underground. When the unstable rock is taken out and appears on the ground, its surface begins to expand. Boom! The violent explosion instantly destroyed a large piece of rock created by Vic. As soon as Noah saw the pebble-shaped stones, he knew that these stones were dynamite rocks. This is it. What a terrifying power. Crow estimated that the fist-sized explosive rock just now destroyed a rock layer with a radius of nearly 120 meters in an instant. Is this the dynamite rock? Vic quickly dived underground and found the dynamite rock buried deep in the ground. By sensing the elemental structure in it, he quickly figured out the composition of the dynamite rock. When Vic resurfaced from the ground, he was holding an explosive rock wrapped in crystal in the palm of his hand. Is it possible to reproduce the composition of dynamite rock? Vic nodded. Yes, I can now make large quantities of dynamite rocks. In fact, the Noah family is not without powerful explosives. For example, Garam can produce large quantities of metallic hydrogen cubes through the cube fruit. The power of this thing is comparable to that of dynamite rocks. But the metallic hydrogen cube has a disadvantage. That is, except for Noah and Garam, others cannot activate the explosion command in it at all. Because the metallic hydrogen cube needs to be decompressed before it explodes instantly. Although the explosive rock created by Vic is also extremely unstable, it will basically not explode as long as it does not come into direct contact with oxygen. Therefore, Vic covered the surface of the explosive rock with a layer of crystal, which isolated the contact between the explosive rock and the air. At the same time, the hardness of the crystal was not high. As long as it hit a hard building or rock, it would cause the shell to rupture, causing the inside to crack. The explosive rock was exposed to the air, causing a big explosion. This means that this explosive rock can be used as a conventional weapon. Of course, Noah would not let ordinary members come into contact with explosive rock weapons casually. After all, he was too weak and could easily cause the weapons to be seized by the enemy. Even if they are equipped with explosive rock weapons, they are still equipped on those Ark battleships. What ancient weapon Pluton? Noah doesn't care at all now. After all, the Ark warship equipped with explosive rock weapons on a large scale also has the destructive power of destroying islands. Moreover, Ark is a battleship that can be mass-produced. From now on, the Noah family and the Kingdom of Dawn will initially have the strength foundation to compete with the world government. But Noah didn't let the dynamite rock weapon go to his head. The destructive power of this thing can actually only be used against ordinary people or islands. It is difficult for masters at the level of lieutenant generals to cause fatal injuries. Later, Zifa used his personal experience to provide a reference for Noah. Poor Salino, whose face was hit by the dynamite rock, didn't even have dirty clothes on his body. The Marine headquarters lieutenant generals were also affected by the explosion of the dynamite rock and only suffered some flesh injuries. Of course, if hundreds of tons of explosive rock are detonated at once, a lieutenant general-level expert will indeed be unable to stop it in the core area of the explosion. The problem is that due to the existence of knowledge, it is difficult for this kind of ambush attack to be 100% effective. Chapter 89, Part 2. However, after Vic gained the ability to create explosive rocks, his strength was basically at the level of a general, even more terrifying than an average general. This is the blessing of top Logia. After eating the yin-yin fruit, Vic's potential will soar further, and he will soon be able to catch up with Joshua and Lillian. As for Monet, even if her snow fruit is developed with Noah's ideas, it is estimated that she can only reach the level of a quasi-general. Unless she can reach the level of Zifa in terms of physical fitness or inspire Conqueror's domineering power, she can possibly step into the enter the general level. Chapter 90, Part 1. After leaving the Sea of Mist, Noah and his party did not return directly to the Storm Islands, but continued to wander in the New World. Of course, they were not sailing without a goal, but sailing in the direction of Punk Hazard Island. Although Punk Hazard Island is an island without magnetism, that is, an island without a recording pointer, it does not mean that Noah cannot find this island. The answer lies in Joshua's Thunder Fruit. Through the magnetic field amplification of Thunder God Island, he carefully investigated the sea area near the entrance of New World. The Punk Hazard Island without a strong magnetic field was discovered by Joshua at that time, and he marked the island's specific location on the chart. Through the positioning of the sextant, the Nautilus sailing at high altitude will not be disturbed by the harsh weather of the New World. A week later, the Nautilus arrived silently over Punk Hazard Island. Taking advantage of the cover of night, Noah and his team secretly landed in a mountain forest on the island. Before the Qingqi War broke out, it was a beast island with a very good ecology. At this time, world government and marine personnel were already stationed on the island, and the scientific research base established in the center of the island was almost the same size as it would later be. Vic quickly used his abilities and led everyone to sneak into the scientific research base quietly from the underground rock formations. Deep underground in the scientific research base, Noah invaded part of the signal system for monitoring phone bugs through electromagnetic wave induction, thus obtaining those surveillance images. In the picture simulated through electromagnetic waves, the Vegapunk that Noah wanted to find was not found, but thinking about it, Vegapunk is most likely already working on Egghead Island. Punk Hazard Island is actually not safe because Kaido took Jin away from here. The person who was in charge of the scientific research work in Punk Hazard at this time was none other than Caesar Courant, who later became famous as a human being. And Noah also saw the artificial pink dragon fruit idol in the secret room. Let's do it. Noah gave the order, and everyone started to take action. At the same time, the phone bug communication on Punk Hazard Island was also blocked by Noah using electromagnetic interference. Shiki and Vic are responsible for clearing out Marine and CP agents outside the scientific research base, while Ali is responsible for checking for leaks and filling in the gaps. Noah, along with Crow, Robin, Aquino, Daz and others, were responsible for controlling the interior of the entire scientific research base. In the secret room where the pink dragon fruit was stored, Noah and his team jumped directly out of the wormhole. He picked up the artificial devil fruit and threw it into the memory card. At the same time, the entire scientific research base was in chaos. Especially the CP agents in charge of the monitoring room were sweating coldly, because not only the monitoring phone bugs were like snowflakes, but also the communication phone bugs and anti-theft phone bugs they carried with them had lost their communication capabilities. Captain, what should we do? The face of the CP2 agent team leader in black suit was also full of solemnity. Suddenly his eyes turned cold, and he inserted his finger directly into the forehead of the deputy captain. The vice captain fell down with a look on his face. The team leader of CP2 explained, this is all for the world government. Phillips and I's life papers are stored at the headquarters. As long as one of them's life papers burns, it proves that we are in big trouble in Punk Hazard. The other agents quickly started to flatter him. As expected of the captain, Phillips' sacrifice was valuable. It's all about world government. Bang, bang, bang. A burst of applause sounded outside the monitoring room. You guys did a great job. The squad leader instantly kicked him with his leg. However, the next moment, a figure quietly appeared behind him. Poof! The sharp fingernails dug into the squad leader's vest. The squad leader's eyes widened, and before he could scream, his body quickly shriveled up. Shoot quickly. In an instant, the 5 agents in the surveillance room turned into mummies. Crow was in the shadows, killing all the phone bugs. He is very lucky, because Vic has the rock fruit, so naturally he cannot eat the vampire fruit. Among the members of the family, Crow is one of the few who has not eaten the devil fruit, has been in it for a long time, has better physical skills, and is more compatible with the vampire fruit. So the vampire fruit fell on him. This fruit is truly a phantom beast. It allowed Crow, who was already at the level of Major General of Marine Headquarters, to instantly rise to the level of Elite Lieutenant General. This is just the initial improvement. The huge potential of the vampire fruit is enough to make him a general-level existence. A mere CP2 team leader could only be killed instantly when facing Crow. Crow handled the matter here and quickly reported to Noah that the CP2 headquarters might have discovered that something happened to Punk Hazard. Other side. Noah has arrived at the center of the scientific research base. Under his feet was Caesar Carant, who was like a puddle of mud. After receiving Crow's report, Noah was not too surprised because it was expected. He packed and sealed all the scientific research personnel, then selected some of the more expensive scientific research equipment and packed it away, while leaving behind a large number of time bombs. 10 minutes later, Shiki carried a half-dead Marine Lieutenant General and appeared with Ali, and Vic also completed the killing mission. Let's go. Everyone entered the wormhole and headed to the secret base temporarily prepared in New World. It was less than 20 minutes after Noah and his party left. A yellow light fell from the sky. The person who came was none other than the fire captain, Porcelino. He looked at the marine base littered with corpses, a gloomy look on his face, and then turned into a ray of light again and arrived at the gate of the scientific research base. The gate of the scientific research base was still intact, but this scene made Porcelino's heart sink. So quiet. Laser cuts the steel plate of the gate. However, the moment Porcelino opened the door, he instantly entered the elemental state. Boom, boom, boom. As if a switch had been touched, a series of violent explosions occurred inside the scientific research base, blowing the scientific research facilities inside the base to pieces. Porcelino's face turned completely dark, and this silent disappearance reminded him of the group of people he met in South Blue before. After all, with his speed, it would only take about half an hour to arrive from Marineland at most. Within half an hour, he could kill many people, including a headquarters lieutenant general and several CP2 team captains. Besides, he couldn't think of any other suitable forces. However, even if he guessed the identity of the enemy, Porcelino could only watch the devastated Punk Hazard Island at this time. Instead of continuing to search for the enemy, he called directly back to the Marine headquarters and reported the situation here, along with his own guesses. Senior executives at Marine headquarters were silent in response to the news. Chapter 90, Part 2. The 5 elders on Maria Joya also received this news, and their faces were very ugly. This time the Punk Hazard incident made them realize once again the horror of the Hidden Ones organization. Not only the Logia members, but also this terrifying mobility allows the Hidden Man organization to attack Marine bases or world government-affiliated countries at any time and anywhere, but world government has difficulty encircling and suppressing each other. Chapter 91, Part 1. Sabaody Islands. Shaki's ripoff bar. Shaki, who had just blackmailed a new pirate group, was lighting Bailey on fire. Suddenly, the wooden door of the bar was slowly pushed open, and Rayleigh walked in from the outside holding a wine bottle. Which unlucky guy is it again? A little pirate from North Blue. Rayleigh was sitting aside. He just picked up the beef jerky on the small plate and suddenly looked at the public notice wall. His eyes narrowed slightly. What did those guys do again? Shaki continued to point at Bailey. There is no specific information, but the information coming from the internal channels of the world government should be that the Hidden Man organization has done something big. The wanted order column on the bulletin wall has been updated with the wanted order of the Hidden Man organization. Iron Man, bounty 3.6 billion, Blue Flame Witch, bounty 2.5 billion, Candleman Galdino, bounty of 800 million, Lei Lin, bounty 2.5 billion, Man with Cat Claw Glasses, bounty of 800 million, Man with Green Hair and Mask, bounty of 3 billion, Suspected Person with Stone Fruit Ability, bounty of 1.5 billion. Has another member been added? Shaki lit the cigarette without raising his head. Maybe it's a member who hasn't been exposed before. Rayleigh took a sip of rum. It seems that the world government has suffered a big loss this time. They are too mysterious. Almost the entire underground world has no information about this organization. The existence of a space user who can move quickly makes this organization difficult to encircle and suppress. Suddenly Shaki thought of something. By the way, maybe this organization may have done what happened to the Free Fans Kingdom, White Town. Judging from the information collected in the underground world, the people in the Kingdom of Frevans did not die from the toxic dust from the mine explosion, but disappeared mysteriously. Rayleigh immediately reacted. White Town is a landlocked country, and several neighboring countries have blocked their borders. Only the space transfer capability can transfer people from this country, but you are trying to say that platinum lead disease is difficult to treat. Rayleigh nodded. Huh. Shaki took a puff of smoke. As far as I know, there are not a large number of platinum lead disease patients in the Iron Bucket Kingdom, nor is Prussian blue potion for treating heavy metal poisoning sold in large quantities. It seems that the other party has strong medical technology. By the way, is there any news about the matter that Shanks entrusted you with? Shaki shook his head. No. Updated with the Occult Order's wanted poster bounty. On the sea, more and more attention is paid to the organization of the Hidden Ones. It's not just the CP organization and Marine who are secretly investigating. Even the Sea Emperor of the New World, as well as the various giants of the underground world, the Revolutionary Army, and the Shichibukai, have shown great interest in the Hidden Ones organization. But faced with the elusive Noah family, their investigation was almost in vain. Paradise, the starting island of the fourth route, Whiskey Island, the second floor of a bar. Crocodile looked at the newspaper and wanted notice in his hand. There was nothing unusual on his face, but in his heart he remembered a piece of intelligence he obtained last year. The ancient weapon is most likely hidden in the Alabasta Palace. It seems that I have to make arrangements as soon as possible. If I can find the legendary ancient weapon, then I can rule the world. But Baroque Studios still doesn't have enough manpower. Only one Von Clay has some strength, and everyone else is rubbish. It seems that I am going to recruit some stronger bounty hunters from all over the world. Paradise, the capital of seven waters. A coffin ship floats slowly into the harbor. The tall man carrying a huge sword glanced at the ordinary people around him with his eagle-like pupils, and a trace of boredom flashed in his eyes. Isn't this the Marine hunter? Keep your voice down, you're going to die. It's Shichibukai. Run quickly. Mihawk ignored these ordinary people and walked towards a port bar. As he stepped into the bar, the guests inside, who were from all walks of life, fell silent, and many of them even broke out in cold sweat. The bartender also had a stiff smile on his face. Sir, what wine and side dishes do you want? A plate of water and meat, a bottle of Garyani red wine, and a copy of today's newspaper. Hold on. The bartender quickly took out a newspaper and handed it over. Mihawk picked up the newspaper and saw the wanted poster with the bounty renewed. That Iron Man seems to be a swordsman, right? It's a pity that these people are so elusive. I don't know where Shanks has been recently. North Blue, Yates Sea. Whoops. Red-haired Shanks lay on the beach chair, sneezed and touched his nose. Who is missing me? Beckman, who was on the bow of the ship, bought a newspaper from Newsbird, flipped through it. His face suddenly became serious, and he jumped to Shanks' side. What's the big news? Shanks looked at the blue sky. The bounty of the Hidden Man organization has increased a lot, especially for the space-type ability users. It has reached 3 billion Baileys. Oh, it's really amazing. Shanks didn't pay much attention. I guess these guys have done something big, causing the world government to significantly increase its bounty. At this moment, Jesus Boo on the mast shouted, Boss, a world government ship has been discovered. The other party seems to have discovered us. Shanks narrowed his eyes, then stood up and looked at the sea in the distance. Sure enough, it was an armed ship flying the world government flag. But the other party did not avoid it, but quickly approached the red-haired pirates. Half an hour later, the ships on both sides were less than 500 meters apart. In an instant, the world government's armed ship suddenly opened fire. Do it. Shanks originally planned to pretend that he didn't see the other party, but he didn't expect these guys to be so ignorant. Jesus raised his hand and fired with his pistol. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Those shells were immediately blasted by bullets. The rest of the crew quickly swung into action. At this time, the CP-9 agents on the world government armed ship also stepped on moonwalk or used rifles to fight back. However, facing the red-haired pirates who were already at the level of sea emperors, these guys were directly crushed. As the team leader, Fozzie Fu immediately entered the orc form of Sabertooth Tiger. Roar. Go to hell. The next second, a terrifying conqueror's impact made Foz Fu roll his eyes and fall to the ground helplessly. The battle on the armed ship soon came to an end. Boss, look what I found. Gabu walked out of the cabin holding a small box. The monkey Mengshida beside him shouted loudly, indicating that he had found the treasure box. Shanks smiled and shook his head. I know. Mengshida must have discovered the thing. But the next moment, Shanks's face turned serious because he saw something inside the small box, a devil fruit. Beckman noticed something was wrong with Shanks' expression and seemed to have remembered something. Isn't this the fruit you've been looking for, Captain? Shanks took the small box and nodded. Yes, it seems that we can't continue sailing in the North Blue. Chapter 91, Part 2. Adjust the course immediately, and we will head to the East China Sea immediately. East China Sea? I understand. Beckman did not ask why he went to East China Sea. nor was he interested in knowing why Shanks valued this devil fruit so much. Soon the red-haired pirates adjusted their direction and quickly moved towards the upside-down mountain. At the same time, the 5 elders of Mariajoya, who also received an armed ship escorting the fruit, were attacked by the Shanks. You can read more daily new novels on fictionzone.net. Both sites share the same login details, so you don't need to sign up again. Chapter 92, Part 1. Other Side. Noah and his team evacuated from Punk Hazard Island, arriving at a deserted island deep in the foggy sea. There is a marine monitoring outpost on the periphery of this sea area, which is full of abandoned mine islands. Noah took advantage of the darkness under the light and placed a secret base underground on one of the small desert islands. At this time, inside the desert island base, R has already brought Luo from the Sky Island and began to transform Caesar Courant and Marine Lieutenant General Beta. As Noah injected the card's spirit into their bodies, 2 new apostles appeared in front of them. Magician, Caesar Coulon, gas fruit, sun. Beta, caloric fruit. This Marine Lieutenant General Beta himself is a strong physical artist and did not eat the devil fruit. The caloric fruit was given to him by Noah. After all, the sun card can only be chosen among the burning fruit, Nika fruit, caloric fruit, and thermal body fruit. The Xiao Xiao fruit and the heat body fruit have been eaten by family members, so naturally they cannot become an apostle. As for the Nika fruit, Noah has no confidence in finding this fruit. Therefore, caloric fruits become the best choice. At this point, Noah's major arcana apostles have reached 11, and the awakening progress of the card fruit has climbed to 50%. They are Emperor, Shiki, Piao Piao fruit, O power, Big Bear, Steel fruit, Devil, Barton, Exchange fruit, Shinigami, Mizuru, Fruit, Ew Justice, Garam, Cube fruit, World, Becky, Castle fruit, Chariot, Dahlia, Weapon fruit, Temperance, Seer, Slowness fruit, Hermit, Hanover, Corrosion fruit, Magician, Caesar, Gas fruit, Sun, Beta, Caloric fruit. These apostles can not only act and fight independently, but also become stronger through continuous practice. At the same time, their abilities can also be lent to Noah. Of course, a general level like Shiki has basically reached the limit that cannot be improved. Moreover, Noah's positioning of these apostles was also different. For example, Caesar's core purpose is scientific research, making up for the Noah family's shortcomings in top scientists. Barton supplies vitality, Garam strengthens infrastructure, Becky can recycle fruits, Big Bear strengthens Noah's body, Musalu researches microorganisms and pharmaceuticals, Dahlia imitates weapons, Syl allows Noah to gain control skills, and Hanover lets Nuaya gain super destructive power. Beta can serve as a military instructor, and Shiki is a strategic force. As the card fruit development progress reaches 50%, Noah once again felt a new change in the card fruit. He took out a blank card, mobilized the power of Apostle Syl, and injected part of the power of slowness into it. A brand new card soon formed. Magic card, Slow Light. However, this card is not perfect yet, and Noah continues to improve its rules. Rule 1. People other than ability users can use this card, but they need to identify the owner with blood in advance. Rule 2. Users other than ability users can activate the card's ability by saying "activate" silently in their hearts when using the card. Rule 3. After the card is used, the card is automatically destroyed and becomes a one-time card. Rule 4. The ability user has the highest authority for this card. He called Crow and handed the card to the other party. After Clue recognized his master with a drop of blood, he silently chanted in his heart to use it, and then a pink light emitted from his palm, hitting Aquino not far away. Aquino suddenly fell into an extremely slow state. Noah evaluated the effect of the card. The effect is the same as when Syl uses Slow Light. It also enters a slow state for 30 seconds. After he figured out the effect of this superpower card, he successively created other cards. For example, Magic card, Floating Power, Magic card, Corrosive Air, Magic card, Metal Hydrogen Cube, Magic card, Escape Channel, especially the Escape Channel. This ability is borrowed from the ability of the Castle Fruit. As long as the user activates this card, he will be instantly pulled into the castle space. And the castle space is in Noah or Becky. This means that as long as you use this card, you can enter the castle space from any location and then be released from the castle space by Becky or Noah. It is equivalent to a one-time return to the city. Its strategic value is very high, especially for winery members who perform intelligence work outside. Noah immediately asked Ali to bring back the personnel from each detachment of the winery and equip them with a batch of magic cards, especially Magic card. escape channel, which all winery members must be equipped with. In the past, the winery's intelligence investigations mainly focused on the collection of public intelligence and phone bug monitoring, and rarely conducted latent intelligence investigations. The reason is that Noah is worried that their inexperience, once exposed, may lead to the leakage of information about the Noah family and the Kingdom of Dawn. Now I can finally rest assured. In order to ensure the safety of these intelligence agents, the magic card, escape channel, given to them by Noah is divided into two types. One is the regular version. The other is one that binds life, similar to the craft of life paper. As long as the user is seriously injured, it will be automatically activated and take the user directly to the castle space. This ensures that when an intelligence agent encounters a powerful enemy and does not have time to actively use the escape channel, he can still rely on his serious injury to activate the escape channel. In addition to the escape tunnel, there is also a magic card, Life Infusion, created using Barton's Vitality. This card can replenish 10 years of vitality at one time and is also available in two versions. The emergence of these magic cards has brought the overall strength of the Noah family to a higher level. After all, as long as you hold a full set of magic cards, you are equivalent to a small Noah. To create magic cards, Noah only needs to consume physical strength, and he can even borrow Barton's Vitality to forcefully create them, which means that the number of his magic cards can be very large. Noah's ability can almost kill enemies below the level of Lieutenant General instantly. If he is an ability user, he will easily be killed at first sight. Various abilities allow you to face various enemies calmly. Winery agents equipped with magic cards can basically sit back and relax as long as they don't encounter general-level enemies. Of course, due to the influence of Noah's behavior, members of the Noah family tend to be steady and cautious and will not be too reckless in doing things. Especially the intelligence agents in the winery, they are more cautious. This is one of the reasons why there have been no leaks since the winery has been operating around the world for more than 3 years. Another reason is, of course, the existence of Mary, the director of the supervision department. In order to ensure that the intelligence agents will not betray, she will re-examine the intelligence agents performing field work every once in a while to prevent someone from changing their mind midway. Moreover, Noah will also use the Conqueror's characteristic of spiritual resonance during the voyage to review the intelligence agents along the way. It is these measures that ensure the loyalty and confidentiality of the winery. Chapter 92, Part 2. Now, after a new round of enhancements, the winery is even stronger and can handle many emergencies. You can read more daily new novels on fictionzone.net. Both sites share the same login details, so you don't need to sign up again. Chapter 93, Part 1. March 16th, 1508 in the Haiyuan calendar. Noah has been making various magic cards these days, equipping almost all elite and above members of the family with a complete set of magic cards. And a group of cadres also selected some magic cards that were useful to them. Today Noah came to Sky Island. After Luo completed the renovation of Turtle Island Fortress some time ago, he returned to Sky Island to perfect the Eden-class spacecraft. After more than a month of refinement, a spaceship that meets expectations has been created. Noah is very satisfied with Luo's work. Yes, this is the perfect combination of devil fruit and science. Noah family, if there is no need to manufacture Eden-class spaceships on a large scale, I plan to take the time to study the Baron of the Stomach to prepare for the future creation of plant islands. Noah nodded. Okay, you can decide the time for the Eden class. Anyway, 1 or 2 ships a year are enough. After all, the advantage of the Eden-class arc is its self-sustainability, which has no irreplaceable role for the current Noah family. Currently, the main spaceship of the Noah family is the Ark-class spacecraft that can be produced on a large scale. The plant island plan Luo mentioned is actually one of the backup plans prepared by Noah to deal with possible crises in the future. Compared to the brainless Vegapunk, Noah actually has more solutions to the future crisis of destruction. Regardless of whether the ocean invasion can be prevented or not, Noah has prepared a corresponding plan. For example, Cumulus Emperoris can be produced on a large scale, which is a preparation for placing a large number of islands in the sky. The Plant Island project is to use super large plants such as the Baron of the Stomach, the Yarkman mangrove, the Sky Island giant vine, and the atom wood to transform artificial plants that can grow on the seabed and form plant islands on the sea surface. The other is to use the abilities of Shiki and Vic to peel off part of the seabed rock layers to deepen the depth of the seabed, thereby increasing the upper limit of seawater capacity in local sea areas. The stripped rock layers can be stacked together to create a new continent. Even if the sea level rises by 200 meters in the future, Noah will still have a way to solve this crisis. But today Noah's goal is the Eden-class spacecraft in front of him. He took Robin and others aboard the Eden-class spacecraft. This ship was controlled in a manner similar to blood recognition, and an enhanced telephone bug was transplanted into its core. Goodbye, Luo. Noah family, take care along the way. Luo waved goodbye to everyone. Soon the Eden-class spacecraft took off and entered the environmental camouflage state. The reason why I chose today for acceptance is because of the moon that has appeared in the sky at this time. The Eden-class spacecraft advances toward the moon at high speed. The speed of this spacecraft is pretty good, reaching about 200 kilometers per hour. But when it comes to going to the moon, the speed is still a bit slower. After all, the moon is 380,000 kilometers away from Blue Star. It takes about 80 days for one way and 160 days for the round trip. But fortunately, Alii is here, and he can jump back through the wormhole at any time. It was the 13th day after Noah and his team set out for the moon. Robin walked into the captain's office holding a document. Noah, the Rum Detachment sent news that the red-haired Shanks docked at Iteport in the East China Sea this morning. Noah thought for a while. Iteport? Have you avoided Rogtown? Continue to monitor, but don't get too close to the other party.
Yes.
Robin recorded this instruction and then continued to report. A CP agent named Phosfu defected in North Blue. Phosfu. As soon as Noah heard the news, he knew that the Nika fruit had been snatched away by the red hair. At this time, the red-haired pirates entered the East China Sea with the obvious purpose of delivering fruits to Ace. That's right, the target of Shank's fruit delivery is not Wang Lufei, but Ace. Apparently Shanks knew that Ace was the son of old Captain Roger. However, the Nika fruit was eaten by Wang Lufei by some mistake, which forced Shanks to change his original plan, and at the same time designed a painful drama to make Wang Lufei target One Piece. Noah just listened to Robin's report quietly and said nothing else. The Eden-class spacecraft continues to fly towards the moon. Before I knew it, more than 60 days had passed. At this time, Noah and his party could already observe the craters on the moon's surface through the window. Is this the moon? Enel, who followed, looked at the desolate and empty surface of the moon, his eyes a little dazed. A few hours later, the spacecraft landed in a crater. Eden, is there air outside? The main brain of the spacecraft, telephone bug, used the photosynthesis on the surface to try to breathe, and found that there was indeed air around, and its composition was almost the same as that of the Blue Star's atmosphere. There is air outside, and its composition is similar to that of the Blue Star's atmosphere, but the humidity is very low. Noah thought for a while and ordered, "Is that so?" Everyone puts on spacesuits, just in case. Receive. I wonder what the difference is between the moon's sand and the Blue Star's. Everyone put on spacesuits and stepped onto the surface of the moon one after another. Enel squatted down, grabbed a handful of sand, and murmured to himself, "Is this the legendary infinite continent?" Noah entered the magnet mode, and the electromagnetic waves spread in all directions to the maximum extent. Soon, a radius of more than 2,000 kilometers was covered by electromagnetic waves. However, electromagnetic waves are not omnipotent, especially for those underground ruins. Noah can only sense the depth of tens of meters underground. After a while, an area suspected of underground ruins was discovered through electromagnetic wave induction. Let's go. Walk 238 kilometers west. Everyone took the spaceship to their destination again. More than an hour later, the spacecraft stopped again. Right here. As he got closer and closer, Noah's electromagnetic wave induction became clearer and clearer. The spaceship was parked under a cliff, and there was a cave not far away. However, there were many signs of landslides in the cave, possibly due to disrepair. Noah patted the ground lightly, and the collapsed rocks were instantly moved away, revealing the metal door behind the cave. There are really ruins? Robin was very shocked. Noah revealed a secret that shocked everyone. The Sky Islanders and the Sandians are actually the descendants of the ancient moon people. Robin quickly reacted. No wonder Burka Island has the legend of the infinite continent and the design of the spaceship arc proverbs. Let's go in. There are no living people inside. Noah controlled the electromagnetic force and pushed open the dusty metal door. Everyone filed in. Under the illumination of the searchlight, after passing through a metal corridor, they came to an empty hall. There are a large number of small robots on display inside the hall. Noah condensed a huge current with his hands. Millions of volts, discharge. Chapter 93, Part 2. As the current source continued to be injected into the surrounding equipment, the lights in the hall soon turned on automatically. The eyes of the small robots also gleamed. and the systems that had been shut down due to loss of energy were restarted. Sizzling. Beep, beep, beep. Everyone also gripped their weapons, ready to deal with possible dangers at any time. 10 minutes later, Noah stopped the current output. After all, he was not a user with the Thunder Fruit ability, and could only temporarily activate about 1/3 of the area. Sensing the cessation of power supply, those small robots also woke up from their silent state. Chapter 94, Part 1. Omicron nu Zyro Lambda Chi Psi, Zeta Psi Omega Tau. Tau Pi Kappa Mu Upsilon Iota Iota Iota. Omicron Beta Omicron Eta Sigma Eta Theta. Pi Tau Omicron Omicron Lambda Delta Chi Omega. Kappa Tau Omicron Zeta Nu Beta Xi. The small robot made a series of strange sounds. Robin paused for a while. This is very similar to the language of gods recorded in the Burka Temple and the Angel Island Temple. She tried to translate the content. Wake up, we master. Robot number 3593. Salute you? Do you need to re-enter the language? Robin bumped into and communicated with several small robots for more than 2 hours before completing the input of common language. Noah and others also conducted a rough exploration of the entire underground ruins. Noah, who had just returned to the front hall, saw Robin communicating with several small robots. Robin, can those robots communicate? That's okay. Just some uncommon words, they may not understand them well. I also found something here. Come and take a look. Oh. Robin took several small robots and followed Noah to a palace. Robot number 3593 introduced to everyone. This is a temple. Before the ancient gods left Burka, they left some murals. Enel is watching in front of the mural. Is this the picture of the moon people going to the blue star? Robin took out his notebook and recorded some of the contents on the mural. Noah asked robot number 3593, has your manufacturing technology remained? Yes, it's in the temple's data room. Robot number 3593 answered stiffly. Take me over there and have a look. God, please come with me. Soon the group came to a statue deep in the temple, and robot number 3593 pressed a sun symbol on the base of the statue. Suddenly the statue slowly rose, and it turned out to be an elevator. Take the elevator down dozens of meters and arrive at Burka's information room. There are a large number of stone slabs on display here, with a large number of words and patterns carved on them. Noah found the design drawings of the Ark's mottos and the design drawings of small robots among them. Robin translated part of the tablet. This part is the history of Burka. It turns out that this is the origin of the lunar people. About 8,600 years ago, the ancestors of the lunar people migrated from the blue star to the moon. The reason was because of a terrible disaster that occurred on the blue star, causing the ancestors of the moon people to leave. After moving to the moon, after about 6,000 years of development, the moon's resources are on the verge of exhaustion, and the people on the moon have to look at their former hometown blue star again. In the solar calendar year 6382, the Outpost Exploration Team successfully returned to Blue Star and sent a message indicating that Blue Star had returned to a habitable state. In the year 6402 of the solar calendar, the empty island Burka was established. After 10 years of survival testing, 500 testers found no serious discomfort. In the solar calendar year 6415, the base camp decided to launch a large-scale relocation plan. In the year 6583 of the solar calendar, the exploration team entered the huge red continent of Blue Star and established the Kingdom of God on the continent. In the solar calendar year 6770, the last batch of lunar Burka residents moved to the Kingdom of God on Blue Star, and the lunar Burka city was temporarily sealed. Enel listened to Robin's translation with surprise in his eyes. Noah was not very interested in the so-called history of the moon people. Soon after Robin finished recording the history of the moon people, he turned to the technical information section of the slate that Noah was more interested in. In addition to the design drawings of Ark proverbs and robots, there are more than a dozen technologies left by the moon people, and most of these technologies are of the environmental modification type. For example, large-scale oxygen production technology using quartzite as raw material, artificial sunlight simulation technology, gravity adjustment technology, magnetic field shield technology, soil modification technology, water circulation technology, etc. Among these technologies, the most important technology is actually solar furnace technology. Solar furnace? Noah instantly thought of the Virgin Flame made by Vegapunk. This thing is most likely the prototype technology of the Virgin Flame. According to what Robin translated, the lunar people discovered an element called subhydrogen on the moon back then. By injecting it and heavy hydrogen into a furnace with a strong magnetic field, they could continuously generate huge amounts of energy. According to Noah's understanding, the so-called subhydrogen is most likely the element helium-3. After more than 6,000 years of development, the lunar people have consumed most of the subhydrogen elements stored in the moon, causing serious problems with its energy supply, and they have to choose to return to the blue star. However, according to Noah's understanding, if the subhydrogen element is helium-3, then the lunar people will obviously not be able to find much subhydrogen element on the blue star. This also explains why the energy of Uranus's solar furnace is used less and less, and finally needs to be replaced by Vegapunk's holy flame. Vegapunk's virgin flame is probably an improvement on the original solar furnace technology, replacing subhydrogen elements with other elements. Although the reactive raw materials for solar furnaces are difficult to find, this technology still has great value. After recording the information on these technologies, Noah decided to open up a lunar governorship and use the lunar city of Burka as the governor's palace. Considering the importance of the moon governorate and the huge power maintenance and restoration required here, Noah transferred Joshua from the Storm Islands governorate. As soon as Joshua arrived at the moon Burka, after listening to Noah's instructions, he worked hard to generate electricity. Noah also asked Ajay to produce a large number of graphene batteries as a backup energy source for the lunar Burka to prevent the lunar Burka from coming to a standstill when Joshua went out. After full activation, the lunar Burka has a total of more than 50,000 small robots, 3 robot production lines, and various mechanical production and processing equipment. The technical level of these equipment is even much higher than that of Blue Star. Immediately afterwards, Noah went to the Rum Kingdom through Ars Wormhole, sealed some of the Rum Kingdom civilians who passed the review with cards, and moved them to the moon Burka. A total of more than 20,000 people were relocated. This population, coupled with more than 50,000 small robots, quickly rejuvenated the lunar Burka. After doing these things, Noah did not leave immediately, but went to the back of the moon and established a brand new secret base. The reason for going to the far side of the moon is naturally to avoid the changes of the moon being observed by Blue Star. Fortunately, there are also urban ruins left by the lunar people on the far side of the moon. Noah only needs to transform these underground city ruins to build a secret base. The purpose of establishing a base on the back of the moon is to solve the energy supply problem. There is no way for the Noah family to replicate the solar furnace in a short period of time, but the construction of the moon is urgent, so the early energy supply issue needs to be considered. Noah's solution is to use solar energy. There is also day and night on the far side of the moon, but Blue Star cannot be directly observed. Chapter 94, Part 2. Ajay has developed graphene solar panels last year, with an energy conversion efficiency of about 10%, which can be manufactured on a large scale using devil fruit powers. As long as a large number of graphene solar panels are laid, coupled with the energy storage of graphene batteries, a huge amount of energy can be supplied to the base. Although the moon in the pirate world has an atmosphere, its atmosphere is very thin and contains almost no water vapor, which results in no clouds appearing on the moon. This environment is very suitable for solar power generation. With energy support, the moon's population capacity will quickly recover. Chapter 95, Part 1. The affairs of the governorate of the moon kept Noah there until October 1508. Of course, just because Noah stayed on the moon does not mean that the rest of the Noah family will not do things. For example, before Noah went to the moon, he arranged for Shiki to prepare a sky empire in the name of the Golden Lion. As for why he didn't reorganize the sky pirates, Noah said that he couldn't afford to lose this person. He would rather secretly control the mafia than start a pirate group. The reason is very simple. The mafia is just a gray force, representing the underground order to a certain extent, rather than blindly plundering. But pirates are pure evil forces. If Shiki reorganizes the sky pirates now, it will become Noah's black spot in the future. As for how the world government defines the sky empire, that is a matter for the world government. Anyway, Noah will not admit that his subordinates are a pirate force. This is a matter of position. After more than half a year of secret preparation, Shiki has found a very suitable sea area in the New World, the Brine Sea area. The Brine Sea area is close to Ochika's Beehive Island, between the Whitebeard pirates and the Big Mom pirates, and is also adjacent to the Windless Zone on the west blue side. This sea area is also known as the Sea of Hell. The reason why it is called the Sea of Hell is that the sea area is densely covered with a large number of volcanic islands and submarine volcanoes. These volcanoes often erupt, and the nearby sea area maintains a gray sky all year round. The purpose of setting up the sky empire here is to use the volcanoes that erupt here all year round to extract the components of seafloor stone and use it to create emperor cumulus clouds. At present, the sky empire has created a large area of cumulus emperor, which is even more than 10 times larger than the Cumulus Emperor over Gaia Island. Shiki also used piao fruit to obtain islands from windless zones and seafloor rock formations, and directly transported more than 30 islands to them. These islands can accommodate millions of people. Noah also equipped Shiki with a strong lineup of subordinates, including Daz, the reformed Beta and Hanover, and Weepa, who ate the fruit. The fruit of Weepa was the exploding fruit found by the winery in South Blue in August, which was later owned by the Booger Man from Baroque Studio. The combat effectiveness of Daz, Hanover, and Weepa are all at the elite lieutenant general level. Beta was a lieutenant general before his transformation. After eating the caloric fruit, adding the vitality infused by Barton, and taking the source blood potion, his strength has basically reached the level of a quasi-general, and he can serve as Shiki's deputy. In order to avoid exposing their identities, Beta and Hanover's public identities will be Liang and Hermit, and their names will be hidden directly. After more than half a year of preparation, Sky Empire is finally going to show its sharp fangs. The Empire's Sky Island. A dozen improved Ark-class spacecraft, plus the flagship Proverbs-class spacecraft, carry thousands of elite members of the family. Shiki waved his hand. Let's go. The spaceship quickly headed towards the Beehive Island. Achiku, who was huddled on Honeycomb Island at this time, had no idea that the danger was approaching. His life in the past few years had not been easy, mainly because of the expansion of the Beast Pirates and the Big Mom Pirates, which caused him to lose a lot of his sphere of influence. If Kaido and Charlotte Lin hadn't been afraid of Achiku's strength and worried about being dragged to death by Achiku, they would have taken action against the fat piece of Beehive Island. Less than 3 days. The air fleet appeared in the mid-air east of Beehive Island. The members of the Achiku pirates on Beehive Island immediately discovered these uninvited guests and sounded the alarm. Boom, boom, boom. Beehive Island shook, and a huge rock giant stood up from the center of the island. This is exactly Achiku's island fruit ability. He saw the floating air fleet in midair a few kilometers away, with a solemn expression on his face, and then shouted, Shiki, what are you doing on Honeycomb Island? Ha ha ha. While laughing wildly, Shiki drifted not far from the rock giant and took a puff of cigar smoke. Huh? Achiku, you are really getting better and better. There was a trace of displeasure on the face of the rock giant, but Achiku quickly discovered the problem because the golden lion in front of him was too young. Almost exactly the same as before he was imprisoned. No, the boat wheel is gone too, and even the feet have been reattached. What's going on? There's something wrong with this D's body. Huh. Achiku, that's enough of reminiscing about old times. I didn't come here today to play pirate games with you. Shiki, what do you want to do? Ha ha ha. What am I going to do? The former golden lion was too naive, and when I return from hell, I will let the world know what real power is. Noah's will instantly descended on Shiki, and a stream of crimson conquerors rose into the sky. Boom. The white clouds in the sky of Beehive Island were instantly shaken away. Boom. Achiku also bursts out with Conqueror's Haki. The two conquerors' domineering forces collided fiercely in midair, but Noah's conquerors had already communicated the will of all members of the flying fleet through spiritual resonance. The dark black conquerors was instantly defeated by the red conquerors. The rock giant was actually knocked back several hundred meters. Achiku was shocked. How is that possible? This is my new power. The former golden lion has died in the Battle of 8 Wall. Now I am Emperor Shiki, and I will never fail again. Don't underestimate me. Ha ha. Powerful killing. The terrifying conquerors entangled the swords of Ingju and Muku. The slashing wave that penetrated the sky and the earth instantly split the rock giant apart, and 2 ravines more than 10 kilometers long were cut out of the Honeycomb Island. The weakness of the island fruit is undoubtedly revealed. After merging with the island, the damage suffered by the island will also be fed back to the ability user. Too weak. Achiku, you can leave. Hateful. After borrowing part of Noah's power, Shiki is even stronger than at his peak. Moreover, Dao Dao fruit is defeated by Piao Piao fruit. Even if Achiku cancels the island fusion, there is no way to fight against Shiki. In less than half an hour, Achiku, who was at the level of a quasi-general, was beaten to death and was held in Shiki's hands like a dead dog. Others attack. Yes, Your Majesty. Liang, Hermit, Daz, and Weepa led their troops into Beehive Island. This place was a pirate island. There were no civilians at all, so there was no need to worry about anything. Unless they were ability users or relatively strong pirates, they would all be killed with one strike. The Battle of Beehive Island came to an end in just over 2 hours. The first appearance of Sky Empire made the whole world instantly quiet in this groundbreaking way. The spies hidden in the Achiku pirates also passed on the news of the Golden Lion's return before they died. Joshua, who secretly came here just in case, already knew all about these phone bug messages, but he didn't stop them. After all, Sky Empire needs to spread the situation of the Battle of Beehive Island to deter other surrounding forces. Chapter 95, Part 2. Especially Charlotte Linlin. After all, Lai Yang blatantly used the power of the caloric fruit. As long as the people in the Big Mom Pirates are not fools, they will soon know who killed Owen. Noah also wanted to see if Charlotte Linlin dared to come and die. Compared to the barren and desolate Breen Sea area, Noah actually hopes to gain the territory of the Big Mom Pirates. Anyway, the bait has been spread out. It just depends on whether the other party will take the bait. Chapter 96, Part 1. The Grand Line, Paradise. Marine's main headquarters is Malinfando. Kong, who was about to be promoted to Fleet Admiral of the entire army, looked very ugly. Kong Ming quickly reported the information collected by Marine to everyone present. The above is all the information about this Beehive Island incident. It's so scary. Palyasolanola sighed in a long voice. Although his face remained calm, his expression was still very serious. From this information, we can know that the Golden Lion's body has recovered, and its strength is stronger than at its peak. This kind of red conquerors is really rare. She continued her analysis. On the sea, the boat can be inserted deep into the head for treatment, the legs can be transplanted, and the ability to regain youthfulness can be restored. If I am not wrong, there is a high probability that it will be that fruit. That legendary surgery fruit? Guion obviously knew something about the situation. Well, Golden Lion must have found a surgery fruit, or a person with the ability to operate a surgery fruit. He continued his analysis. We don't need to discuss too much about Golden Lion's physical problems, but his behavior in capturing Beehive Island this time there's a lot to look at. For example, he did not continue to use the name of the Sky Pirates, but instead used the name of the Sky Empire. It is obvious that the Golden Lion no longer intends to continue to be involved in the pirate forces. Another point is that he did not take away Beehive Island, but directly sunk it into the sea. Obviously, he did not want other forces to occupy Beehive Island. This shows that the Golden Lion's Sky Empire is near Beehive Island. At the same time, the Golden Lion did not choose to recruit the members of the Achiku pirates, but massacred them all. It may be that he does not trust the people of other pirate groups, or he wants to draw a clear line with the pirate forces. After listening to his analysis, all Marine executives have a new understanding of the Golden Lion. Sora asked, Crane, how do you think we should respond? Fleet Admiral, we don't need to be too anxious. It's useless to be anxious now. Crane paused. You can use news channels to promote the Golden Lion as the fourth emperors of the New World. I believe Kaido and Charlotte Linlin will definitely help us test the strength of the Golden Lion. He picked up one of the wanted notices that had just been printed, and the ability of this Sky Empire cadre named Liang is the Heat Fruit. This fruit is Charlotte Owen's ability. We can secretly add fuel to the fire and let Charlotte Linlin. It is suspected that the Golden Lion killed Owen. Sora immediately affirmed, Very good. I'll leave this matter to you, Crane. Marine did not give up the lion bounty because Shiki established the Sky Empire, but instead increased the amount of the bounty, making it surpass Whitebeard and lower than Roger. The bounties for Liang, Hermit, Daz, and Weepa are also very high, reaching the level of more than 1 billion belly. Soon Morgan's World Economic News called the Golden Lion the fourth Sea Emperor to rule the New World. As for why it's so fast, the reason is very simple, because the Golden Lion's own strength and reputation are enough to become the Emperor of the Sea. There is no need to be like the red-haired Shanks, who struggled with several other royal groups in the New World for several years, and did not reach the top until around 1514. New World. On the flagship of the Whitebeard Pirates. After receiving the following report, Marco showed an incredible expression on his face, and then came to Whitebeard. Dad, something big happened. The Golden Lion captured Beehive Island and defeated Achiku. The white-bearded man with an infusion tube already inserted into his body opened his eyes slightly. Shiki, tell me the details. Soon Marco revealed all the information. The captains of the Whitebeard pirates present all showed surprised expressions. The Golden Lion actually massacred Beehive Island? And the Honeycomb Island sank into the sea? Did he have any beef with Achiku? Whitebeard also frowned. As far as he knew, there was no big problem between Golden Lion and Achiku. Teach's eyes also shone with some inexplicable brilliance. In addition to the dark fruit and whitebeard's shocking fruit, the piao fruit also made him salivate. But now he didn't even get the dark fruit. He just longed for the piao fruit and didn't care too much. But another thing Marco said made Teach's heart turbulent. One of the captains suggested, "The golden lion can restore youth? Dad, do you want to find the golden lion?" "Your body." "Okay, my health is fine. Let's have a party." Whitebeard interrupted his son's suggestion and changed the subject instead. Marco frowned, but didn't say anything. In fact, Whitebeard doesn't want to regain his youth and continue to protect these sons. Unfortunately, he knows that there is no free lunch in the sea. Based on his understanding of shiki, the other party will definitely use this as a condition to ask the Whitebeard pirates to join his command. Judging from Shiki's performance in this Beehive Island incident, it is obvious that the local government intends to continue to dominate the world, and its ambitions have even become more terrifying. This made Whitebeard even more unwilling to cooperate with the other party. He just wanted his sons to survive and was not willing to fight for world domination. New World, All Seas, Cake Island. Perospero took the intelligence he had just received and hurried to the castle hall. The aunt who was having a delicious meal suddenly turned gloomy when she saw her eldest son. "Well, what happened to my child again?" Perospero pretended to be calm. "Mom, the golden lion defeated Achiku and is now taking over Achiku's territory. That old lion is not dead yet?" When the aunt heard the name, the fat on her face became a little ferocious. Obviously, she did not think that the disabled and old golden lion was her opponent. However, Perospero, who already knew the relevant information, had to pay attention to the return of the golden lion. He quickly explained, "Mom, the boat on golden lion's head has been taken out, and new legs have been added to his legs, and he has become younger." "What?" The aunt's eyes widened. This dead lion actually healed his body and regained his youth? Damn it. Now the aunt couldn't sit still. She knew the strength of the golden lion very well. Even Roger could barely compete with the golden lion at its peak. If it hadn't been for that sudden storm, the golden lion could have escaped unscathed even if it couldn't defeat Roger. And Annie knows her own strength. Once she encounters the golden lion, she may be able to escape, but it will definitely be difficult for other members of the kingdom to avoid the golden lion's attack. Piao Fruit's island-smashing offensive is almost a catastrophic threat to those forces with fixed territories. Perhaps Kaido can rely on the ability of the blue dragon fruit to be evenly matched with the golden lion in its peak stage in the air. At this time, the aunt finally remembered the good brother who had been away for a long time, and quickly took out the phone to contact Kaido in Wano country. At the same time, Perospero quickly notified other core members of the family. Chapter 96, Part 2. Including Bao Bao, Katakuri and others, they quickly rushed to the cake hall. Chapter 97, Part 1. New World, the country of Wano. Ghost Island. Kaido is drinking with Quinn. Suddenly a phone rang. Kaido stopped and picked up the phone to answer the call. "Ouch. Old woman. What's the matter?" "Kaido, don't forget that you still owe me a favor." Kaido took a big sip of wine with calm eyes. Hiccup. "You are still the same. What's the matter?" "That be asterisk 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 D Shiki has recovered and gotten younger. You should know his strength." "Shiki? That old guy actually has such an opportunity? Oh wow. This world is getting more and more interesting." Kaido laughed wildly. The aunt roared angrily. "Kaido, did you hear me clearly? Shiki is not like before this time. He defeated Achiku of Beehive Island today and massacred the entire Beehive Island." "Oh." Kaido narrowed his eyes slightly. Despite his careless appearance, he was actually very shrewd. Although the beast pirates currently do not border the Golden Lion's territory, it does not mean that Kaido is not wary of the former captain of the 2nd Division. Lin, what do you want? How about we join forces to test Shiki's strength?" After hearing Auntie's proposal, Kaido did not refuse. Soon the two of them discussed the arrangements for joint testing. East China Sea, Dawn Island, Windmill Village. Beckman looked at today's world economic news with a very sad look on his face. "What's wrong?" Lucky Lou said while chewing on the chicken legs. "We are in big trouble." Beckman turned his head and looked at Shanks, who was chatting with Luffy. His head hurt even more. "Shanks, I have something to talk to you about. Let's go outside." Shanks, who had lost an arm, saw Beckman's solemn expression and immediately comforted Luffy and asked the landlady to serve him a large plate of barbecue, then stood up and walked out with Beckman. The two came to the coast. "Shanks, this is today's newspaper. Take a look at it first." Shanks took the newspaper, flipped through it for a while, and his face became a little solemn. The Golden Lion has come back? And he has regained his youth and body trouble. Beckman knew part of Shanks' plan. After the other party plans to guide the child, he will go to the New World to start the fight for hegemony and prepare for future plans. Unfortunately, the sudden rise of the Golden Lion has caused great uncertainty in Shanks' plan. After all, the intimidating power of the Golden Lion is so terrifying that as soon as he comes back, he will be immediately promoted to the title of Emperor of the Sea in the New World. As for why Shanks didn't choose to become the 5th Emperor, the reason is very simple. New World's territory is limited. In addition to the part of the sea area controlled by the world government and marine, Elbaf, and a large part of the human restricted area must be deducted from the remaining sea area. The remaining territory can only accommodate up to 4 sea Emperor-level pirate forces. And among the current 4 emperors, Whitebeard has the title of the strongest man in the world, and he has a good relationship with the Roger pirates. Shanks will definitely not seize the other party's territory. Charlotte Leanlean's 10,000 Kingdoms is a self-contained entity, and Shanks is very aware of the fact that the other party is having an affair with Kaido. Kaido is also not easy to mess with. With the blue dragon fruit in Kaido's ghost bloodline, his domineering, physical skills, and fruits are all top-notch, and his subordinates are also very powerful. Not to mention the Golden Lion, the legend that almost forced the Roger pirates into a desperate situation. Even the forces with a fixed territory could not withstand the Piao Piao Fruit's island-smashing offensive. What's more, the Golden Lion is still young and his body is intact. No matter how confident Shanks is, he doesn't think that the red-haired pirates can go head-to-head with the Golden Lion. New World mutation. Shanks was suddenly in a dilemma. In order to ensure that the promised person can reach the final island smoothly, he must escort him in the most dangerous New World. But now that he enters the New World, he must start a full-scale war with one of the 4 emperors and completely defeat one of them. Instead, and time waits for no one. With the current situation, the Golden Lion Sky Empire will soon expand aggressively and carve up the remaining territory of the New World. Now Shanks regrets that he has stayed in the East China Sea for too long. Even if he rushes to New World quickly at this time, it will take about half a year. After half a year, the daylilies were cold. Paradise. Sabaody Islands. Shaki's ripoff bar. That guy with the Golden Lion has regained his youth? Rayleigh looked shocked. Shaki sneered and looked at Rayleigh. You better be careful. I feel that the Golden Lion has changed a lot. Even Achiku was easily defeated by him. With the grudges between your Roger pirates and him, if you appear in front of me, I will probably be hacked to death by him. Hee hee hee. I'm already retired. Really? If that boy Shanks meets the Golden Lion, are you going to sit back and watch? Shaki reminded. Hearing this, Rayleigh reacted instantly. Shanks. Of course he knows what Shanks has been planning, and he is also preparing to compete for the position of Sea Emperor of the New World. Shaki looked out the window deeply, as if he had already felt the depression before the storm. The Sky Empire has fully taken over Achika's territory, and the next step is probably to expand outward. With the location of the Honeycomb Island Sea area, if there is no war with Whitebeard and Linlin, it can only expand to the Karif Sea area to the west. Rayleigh was silent for a while and finally shook her head. Let young people solve their own problems? This is the best. I don't want to collect your body. How heartless. Shaki. Haha, let's pay for today's drinks first and then talk about it. Coder Lao Lei. North Blue. Ike Island. The secret headquarters of the Don Quixote family. At this time, Brother Ming was looking at the newspaper in his hand. Although his face was expressionless, his eyes under his glasses were full of fear. Due to Noah's interference, Luo did not join the Don Quixote family, and Rocinante did not take Luo out for medical treatment. With this insider, many plans of the Don Quixote family were ruined by he. Even though it had become Shichibukai at this time, it still did not change the embarrassing situation of the Don Quixote family. Moreover, Diamante's death caused Minga to lose a core combat force. The current Don Quixote family is much weaker than the original timeline. Even the plan to enter the New World has been postponed. It has just entered the New World recently and is preparing to plan the Kingdom of Dressrosa. But the sudden rise of the Golden Lion made Brother Ming feel a pressure. If the Golden Lion also targets the Kingdom of Dressrosa, his plan will completely fail. This makes Brother Ming feel the same dilemma. Now he continues to act according to the original plan and faces huge uncertainty. If he does not continue to act according to the plan, the manpower and material resources invested previously will be wasted. Brother Ming was caught in a tangle. However, after struggling in his heart for a while, he made a decision and ordered his subordinates to continue with the previous plan. Chapter 97, Part 2. Obviously, Minggu is betting that the Golden Lion will worry about the world government and marine and will not extend its hand to the kingdom of Dressrosa. Of course, Brother Ming actually prepared a way, which is to find other four emperors' forces to cooperate. Even if the Golden Lion is willing to cooperate, he doesn't mind. The other giants in the underground world are also silently watching the Sky Empire's next moves. You can read more daily new novels on fictionzone.net. Both sites share the same login details, so you don't need to sign up again. Chapter 98, Part 1. Sea of Hell. A blue dragon soars among the sea of clouds. There is also a group of dark clouds following the side, and an ant in pink stands on the dark clouds. Soon the two of them saw dozens of floating islands in the sky dozens of kilometers away, which was obviously the headquarters of the Sky Empire. Right now, a terrifying slashing wave swept across. Kaido, in the form of a blue dragon, immediately transformed into a beastman form, wielding the Hakuseiji mace. Thunder 8 trigrams, boom. The fierce collision tore apart the surrounding clouds. It turns out it's you. In turn, Shiki fell from the sky, looking at Kaido, who was walking back several hundred meters indifferently, and then turned to look at the ant who was walking on the dark clouds. Lin, you are not at home to give birth. You want to come over, or are you going to die? Well, Shiki, are you just going to welcome us like this? After all, we were once on the same boat. The ant didn't yell and kill as soon as she came up, but tried to keep things normal. Huh. Lin, you are still as cunning as ever. But today, I still want to thank you. Thank you for bringing Kaido here. As soon as he finished speaking, Shiki ignored Big Mom and rushed towards Kaido instead. Veins popped up on the ant's forehead. *** whole golden lion. You. However, the next moment, a terrifying heat wave swept over, and the iron fist of the burning sun released terrifying heat. Auntie had to summon the sun Prometheus to deal with the high-heat iron fist of the burning sun. Kaido's arm muscles swelled, and his armor color and conquerors wrapped around Hachasai. King Kong Dysprosium, Red Heart, Mighty Slash. Boom. The collision suddenly broke out, and some of the power was offset by each other. The attacks from both sides seemed to be equally matched. Red Heart, Yellow Spring. Ingju and Muku waved into a circle, sweeping in all directions. Zhang Sanshuri Nailuo. Not to be outdone, Kaido swung his mace and hit Shiki. Bang bang bang. The sword energy and the shadow of the stick dance together, and the roar is like a volcano erupting. Bad wind. Kaido spit out terrifying and dense wind blades. Azure Dragon. Shiki controlled the surrounding Emperor Cumulus clouds and condensed them into a dozen cloud dragons with teeth and claws. Tornado. 9 dragons soar to the sky. The two sides fought fiercely from high altitude to the sea, then from the sea to the volcanic island, and then fought and lifted off from the volcanic island. The sword energy tore through the sea surface for more than 10 kilometers in an instant, reaching directly to the soil and rock formations on the seabed. The tornado whipped up huge waves. Countless sea water dragons collided one after another. The fire that penetrates the sky and the earth evaporates the seawater. A series of floating boulders fell from the sky. Boom, boom, boom. It hit the sea, causing thousands of meters of waves. The battle lasted 3 days and 3 nights. Whether it's Kaido or Shiki, both of them have very strong physical strength. If it is a disabled and old Golden Lion, it may not be able to defeat Kaido in his prime. However, through the infusion of huge vitality and the reshaping of the foundation with the Source Blood Potion, Shiki's physical strength is much stronger than at his peak. Kaido once again withstood a series of sword attacks, but his heart became more and more solemn. Apparently, he had discovered that Shiki's physical strength and endurance were no less than him, a user with the ability of the Phantom Beast species. The Red Conquerors shocked Kaido even more, because his arm defense was broken. Although he was able to survive with his strong body, he still suffered a lot of damage. The battlefield on the other side. And he also fought fiercely with the sun for 3 days and 3 nights. In terms of strength, Anti is better than Liang, but Liang's ability is too weird, even weirder than Anti's Soul Fruit ability. Terrifying high temperatures, or reverse operation to freeze the surrounding by absorbing heat from the surroundings. Coupled with the magic cards hidden on the body, various means. Anti also had to concentrate on dealing with the scorching sun. This was without Liang using some of his trump cards, such as slow light and corrosive gas. But just the electromagnetic ability extended by the steel fruit, coupled with the air control extended by the gas fruit, made Liang extremely difficult to deal with. Liaoyang's original body was Marine Lieutenant General Beta, who specialized in physical training. With the addition of huge vitality and the reshaping of his foundation through the Source Blood Potion, his physical strength was naturally very terrifying. He struggled with his ant for 3 days and 3 nights, and he didn't look tired at all. The battle between the 4 people is still continuing in the Sea of Hell. World government, marine, and underground giants all sent powerful intelligence personnel to secretly observe this battle. Especially the big news, Morgan's, he even came to observe in person. It was through Morgan's World Economic News that the outside world learned some of the details of the 3 Emperors' War. Although the results have not yet come out, many forces already know that Shiki's strength has returned to its peak. Moreover, the strength of his subordinate Liang can compete with Big Mom for 3 days and 3 nights, which is much stronger than Jin of the Beast Pirates and Longbread of the Big Mom Pirates. Marine's headquarters at this time is Marina Fando. Except for Sengoku and Garp, who were on guard against the Golden Lion in New World, other senior officials in the headquarters, including Porcelino, were in the viewing room. Through the live broadcast of the Elite Intelligence Officer Flame Photographer, everyone can see part of the battle scene. It's so scary. It's worthy of being a golden lion. Porcelino rarely looked serious. Kong frowned. Where did this blazing sun come from? No information has been collected on this person yet. He may be the heir secretly cultivated by Golden Lion. Crane analyzed. Kong continued to ask, Crane, which side do you think will win? Golden Lion, the Sea of Hell is originally the base camp of the Sky Empire, and there are still 3 cadres above who have not taken action, he added. But Kaido and Charlotte Linlin should be able to escape intact. After all, they have to retreat, and Golden Lion also can't stop it. After listening to this analysis, Kong said, Is this so? In this case, let Sengoku and Garp not act rashly and continue to guard the G1 base. Originally, he wanted to see if he could pick it up, or send Porcelino over to wait for an opportunity to sneak attack on the Golden Lion or Kaido. Now it seems that such a good thing will definitely not happen. And he was also worried that once Porcelino was sent, it would arouse the common hatred of Golden Lion, Kaido, and Charlotte Linlin, causing both sides to attack Marine together. This kind of thing has happened several times before. Whether Marine is targeting the Beast Pirates, the Big Mom Pirates, or the Whitebeard Pirates, the other 2 pirate groups will take the initiative to stop friction and quickly approach the Marine base or the participating countries. Marine's several actions were in vain. After so many experiences and lessons, Sora will naturally not continue to do this kind of useless work. Chapter 98, Part 2. Continuing to watch the battle between the 2 sides is the most correct choice. Anyway, in the view of Marine's senior management, both sides are pirate forces, and it would be best to injure both sides so that New World can be quiet for a while. 3 more days passed unknowingly. The battle in the Sea of Hell has lasted for 6 days and 6 nights. Both sides finally began to show signs of fatigue. Liang, in particular, had to secretly use life injections several times in order to maintain combat effectiveness and prevent Big Mom from freeing up her hands. And those high-ranking officials from all parties who watched the live broadcast of the phone bug also estimated that this time the battle was about to end. After all, in their opinion, it is impossible for both sides to really fight to the death. There is a high probability that Kaido and Charlotte Linlin took the initiative to retreat, and the Golden Lion has completely established its reputation as the Sea Emperor by virtue of its record of defeating the 2 Sea Emperors. You can even challenge the position of One Piece, or the strongest man in the world. Chapter 99, Part 1. Ha ha ha. In turn, you are still far away. Shiki laughed and mocked Kaido, who had several wounds on his body. Kaido's face was full of fatigue. Obviously, he had not thought that recovering the young Golden Lion's physical strength would be so terrifying. He fought for 6 days and 6 nights, and he still seemed to be at ease. In fact, this was a misjudgment by Kaido, because Shiki secretly used 10 years of life force as a price to restore his body to its peak state a few hours ago. If he hadn't used his life force to replenish his physical strength, then Shiki's condition at this time would definitely be similar to Kaido's. Kaido glanced at the volcanic island in the distance again. He found that the battle between Anti and Liang was still going on, with no signs of weakening. Oops. This guy Shiki can still maintain his physical strength, but more than half of my physical strength has been consumed. I can't continue fighting. I have to find a way to escape. Shiki's eyes were deep, and he could already feel Kaido's fighting spirit fading. Do you want to retreat? That's fine, it's time. A vague electromagnetic wave passed into the dark clouds not far away. Come on, let's fight to the death. Red Heart God Destroyer. Shiki, come and kill me. Roar Thunder 8 trigrams. The terrifying slashing wave and Conqueror's haki collided with each other. Boom. The clouds in the sky burst instantly. The next second, Shiki approached very quickly and fought with Kaido at close quarters. Bang bang bang. Sudden changes occurred. Flower of bones node. A large number of sharp bone flowers sprouted from each movable joint of Kaido's body. What? Red Heart. Demon Slayer. A short sword inlaid with a sea stone was inserted into Kaido's chest instantly. Damn it. Kaido suddenly felt the weakness of his body. Even if it is immune to low-concentration sea stone products, it is difficult for Kaido's body to be completely immune to high-concentration seafloor crystals. When a master of this level fights and becomes physically weak, it is simply a fatal crisis. Azure Dragon Binding Killing Formation. The storage card hidden in Shiki's sleeves released a high concentration of sea stone clouds, which instantly wrapped around Kaido's body and even poured into his mouth and nose. Despicable. Kaido became weaker and weaker. Ha ha ha. A winner or a loser, you have no right to call others despicable. Shiki laughed as he pulled out 2 sea stone daggers again and inserted them into Kaido's peepa bone. At this moment, Kaido completely lost his ability to resist. Although intelligence personnel from all parties are secretly monitoring the battle here, since the battle between the two sides covers dozens of kilometers, they can only observe from the distant edge. The nearest Morgan's is about 10 kilometers away from the core combat zone. This resulted in no one seeing the moment Kaido was attacked by Robin. However, as the smoke dispersed, all the intelligence agents monitoring the scene were surprised. Because in the telescope, they saw Kaido, who was like a dead dog, tied up with chains, floating on the side of the Golden Lion. Robin's ability is used for sneak attacks. Even if he sees and hears haki, he can't react in an instant. After all, Organ Blossom can be unfolded on any object or creature at any time and anywhere. The moment you sense danger, it's already too late. What's more, Shiki borrowed Noah's Conqueror's haki at that time, constantly interfering with Kaido's sense of sight and color at close range. When masters fight, victory or defeat can happen in a split second. Just like when Kazuki Oden was fighting Kaido, the old woman from the Black Carbon family used the imitation fruit to turn into Momonosuke. At that moment, Kazuki Oden jumped directly into the street. Originally, Shiki planned to use this move against Big Mom. Unexpectedly, the aunt did not dare to come alone, but instead went to find her old friend Kaido to come with her. Shiki changed her goal at that time. Compared to the Big Mom pirates, Kaido's beast pirates are more valuable. Damn. Auntie also discovered that Kaido had been defeated at this time. She gritted her teeth and immediately summoned dark clouds to escape. Liang did not stop the other party. Although Big Mom would definitely not be able to escape by pulling out the Noah family hidden behind the Sky Empire, this would directly expose the family's hidden strength and might even become a thorn in the side of the world government. The current performance is just right. Shiki didn't hesitate and immediately picked up the phone. Everyone listened to the order. Move forward at full speed to Wano country immediately. Receive. Dozens of floating islands are carrying Emperor Cumulus clouds, and they are rushing towards the waters of Wano country. As the vanguard force, the speed of the air fleet is even more astonishing. At the same time, all parties felt unbelievable about this result, but they had to accept the reality. The power of the Golden Lion made all forces give up the idea of seizing the opportunity to seize the Beast Pirates' territory. After all, those territories are fixed. Grab them now and wait for the Golden Lion to clean up the remnants of the Beast Pirates in a few days. Then wait for the island to fall from the sky and hit you on the head. And Onigashima in Wano country. Jin's face was also very ugly at this time. He had received an urgent report from intelligence personnel. Boss Kaido was captured by the Golden Lion, and the Golden Lion was rapidly advancing towards Wano. Brother Jin, let's go rescue Boss Kaido quickly. Jack, who was only 16 or 17 years old, immediately shouted. Idiot. Quinn hit Jack's head hard. Are you crazy? That's the Golden Lion that defeated Kaido's boss. We can't defeat each other even if we are tied together. Jin, let's evacuate the country of Wano immediately. Otherwise everyone will become a prisoner. The look on Jin's mask was full of struggle. Quinn saw Jin's hesitation and quickly struck while the iron was hot. Jin, don't worry about Boss Kaido. Maybe the boss can escape from the Golden Lion like he did before. Now we have to ensure the Beast's pirates first the basic strength is not lost. Jin hesitated for a moment and finally agreed with Quinn's idea. I immediately ordered the core cadres to retreat from the harbor, while other peripheral personnel stayed. Quinn thought of another thing. What about the big snake? Don't worry about it, and don't notify the other party, otherwise there will definitely be trouble. Leave these troubles to that be D Golden Lion. Obviously Jin did not regard Orochi as part of the Beast Pirates, and was even wary of the other party causing trouble. In order to avoid alerting the enemy, Jin only let the core cadres know about the matter. The middle-level cadres were not informed of the details. In the name of going out to meet the boss of Kaido, the core cadres and middle-level cadres were taken away. The moment they entered the dive port, a ray of lightning slowly condensed into a human shape and appeared on the head of the big skull of Onigashima. He had already sensed that Jin and others' submarine was diving, and he suddenly sneered. The choice of self-destruction. If they choose to stay on Onigashima and resist, they might be able to make Shiki and the Noah family work harder. And diving into the sea is another advantageous battlefield for the Noah family. Chapter 99, Part 2. Waves of electromagnetic waves completely blocked Wano's external communications. At the same time, Mary, Ajay, Vic, Galdino, and others hidden on the seabed outside Wano also received Joshua's electromagnetic wave communication and began to surround the exit of the Wano undersea tunnel. Chapter 100, Part 1. The Country of Peace. Undersea tunnels deep beneath the Ring Mountains. More than a dozen submarines are rapidly advancing towards the exit. Soon the submarine rushed out of the tunnel and entered the seabed of the open sea. However, as soon as he rushed out of the tunnel, Jin's face changed drastically, and he already felt a terrifying sense of crisis. Before he could react, countless black tentacles appeared from the bottom of the sea and wrapped around the submarine's hull and propeller at lightning speed. Oops. Jin immediately picked up the phone bug, but the phone bug showed no response. What's going on? Boom. The undersea rock formations suddenly erupted, and countless rock spurs rose into the sky, directly through all submarines. Damn, Jin cursed angrily. Prepare the escape cabin. Quinn was shocked. Yamato, who was imprisoned in the cabin, was directly dizzy from the influx of seawater. The two big signboards of the Beast Pirates, together with Jack, Black Maria, Fozzie Fu and others from the Flying Sixth Cell, are all fruit ability users, and they directly turn into soft-legged shrimps in the sea. Suddenly, countless wax fish people appeared from all directions. Those members of the Beast Pirates who were not Esper were directly targeted by these wax fish people. In the sea, the wax fruit's weakness to high temperatures and flames was covered up by the environment. Jin and Quinn, who had just entered the escape cabin, encountered a large number of self-destructing wax piranhas before they floated more than 10 meters. Boom, boom, boom. As the escape capsule was destroyed, Jin and Quinn also felt suffocated and desperate. Gulu gulu. The wax fishmen instantly enveloped Jin. These specially made wax fishmen contain sea tower stone crystals in their bodies, which can suppress the ability user and completely make them lose their ability to resist. Less than half an hour. The Beast Pirates' escape fleet was completely wiped out. Not a single fish that slipped through the net was either caught or directly turned into minced meat and fed to the fish. Joshua observed the entire process through electromagnetic waves and saw that all the cadres and middle-level members of the Beast Pirates had been wiped out. He knew that Wano country was already in the hands of the Noah family. 2 days later, it spanned a voyage of nearly 8,000 kilometers. The Sky Empire's forward-flying fleet finally arrived in the sky over Wano country. Because Joshua has been using electromagnetic interference over Wano country, the sudden changes in the outside world have not been noticed in Wano country for the past 2 days. In fact, this is also related to Wano's long-standing closed-door policy. They have almost no contact methods and channels with the outside world. Over Ghost Island, Daz and Weepa descended from the sky with the air cavalry troops. Who? Quickly inform Master Jean. Someone has invaded. What's going on? The communication can't be connected? Weepa's wings suddenly opened. Return of life, feather of heaven. Countless feathers shot out. Boom, boom, boom. Feather, transformed by the ability of the explosive fruit, has turned into an extremely terrifying explosive. The explosive he simulated is composed of dynamite rock. Those chaotic beasts and ordinary pirates were instantly destroyed. Ah! Run! Help! Balu, help me! Get out of here, lousy! Daz's body was covered in weapon color, and his whole body turned into a sword state. Die! Scumbags! Blade storm! In an instant, dozens of ordinary pirates were killed. Haha, don't waste it. The hermit passed through dozens of pirates in an instant and lightly tapped the chests of these pirates with his fingers. In an instant, The subtle corrosive air mixed with the color of weapons was penetrated into all the pirates. Inside the human body, even the physically stronger pirate was instantly knocked to the ground. Without the mid-level and high-level combat power of the beast pirates, Onigashima could not stop them for even half an hour. They would either be captured or die on the spot. After clearing the Ghost Island, about 10 hours later, Shiki brought the Sky Empire's floating island group to Wano Country, the land of peace, the capital of flowers. The black carbon snake appeared in the small square outside the main hall under the protection of Kurozumi Shanmaru, Kuroshiro, and Fukuroju. It's just that at this time, Kurozumi no longer had the arrogance and domineering look of the past, and his face was filled with only fear and anxiety. Where did these floating islands come from? But Kurozumi Shanmaru, who had followed Kurozumi to the sea, his pupils shrank sharply. Is this the ability of the Golden Lion? How could he come to Wano Country? Where is Kaido? Golden Lion? Fulusho was very unfamiliar with this name. Kurozumi Shanmaru's old face became more solemn, and he quickly explained, Ahem. He and Kaido used to be in the same pirate group, but at that time Kaido was just an intern, and Golden Lion Shiki was the second squad leader. On the side, Kwangshiro was thinking about whether the Golden Lion's intention to come would cause harm to the Kazuki clan. Suddenly on the floating island, a dozen figures fell from the sky. What a Golden Lion! Kurozumi Shanmaru's voice trembled slightly. Shiki landed directly in the small square in front of the palace. He saw the white-haired Kurozumi Shanmaru. It turns out to be you. Kurozumi Shanmaru? Shiki-sama, you are getting younger and younger. Kurozumi Shanmaru complimented in a low voice. What are you doing, Mr. Shiki, in Wano Country? Prince Mido and I must fulfill our duty as landlords. Although Kurozumi had a smile on his face, he mentioned Kaido in his words, obviously wanting Shiki not to go too far. Suddenly Liang on the side took action directly. Kurozumi Shanmaru, who had been wary for a long time, immediately made a hand gesture, and a hemispherical barrier instantly enveloped Kurozumi Orochi. Boom! The hot iron fist of the blazing sun hit the barrier, but the barrier didn't move at all. Haha, Sir Shiki, what do you mean? I'm afraid when King Ming comes back later. However, before he finished speaking, he found that the barrier disappeared. At this time, a large number of bone spurs appeared on Kurozumi Shanmaru's joints, and a large piece of hair entangled his hands, preventing him from using the fruit's ability. The barrier fruit is not invincible. Shiki bit his cigar and looked calmly at the ashen-faced Kurozumi Shanmaru. I am the general of Wano. The Kurozumi serpent instantly transformed into the form of the Yamata serpent and bit Shiki, Liang, and others. Flower of hair, Yamata no Orochi. Robin's hair instantly transformed into the form of Yamata no Orochi. What? Kurozumi was shocked. When Fu Lusho saw this scene, he quickly took action, but the next second, he found a big hole in his chest. Liang punched him in the chest without giving him a chance to talk nonsense. The only person at the scene who did not take action was Kwangshiro. Although he was holding Itachi, cold sweat broke out on his forehead because he found Shiki looking at him, as if he moved, his head would be dismembered. Two Yamata no Orochi were fighting in the small square. However, Kurozumi, who does not have much fighting experience, is no match for Robin. Bone Flower Mandala. Chapter 100, Part 2. The teeth of Yamata no Orochi suddenly swelled and penetrated into the body of Kurozumi Orochi, and a stream of anesthetic venom was injected into its body. Even the phantom beast species cannot withstand such a huge amount of narcotic toxins. After a while, Kurozumi Orochi exited the form of Yamata Orochi and fell unconscious in the ruins. Garbage. A waste of a fantasy beast species. Shiki casually released a large amount of sea tower stone clouds from his cuffs and tied up Kurozumi Orochi and Kurozumi Shanmaru. Then he looked at Kayashiro and raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Kazuki Oden's diehard fan? Do you have any last words? What? Kwangsher Lang's eyes widened, and the next second he turned around and ran away. Iron Sand Tornado. The Kwangshalang was covered in armor and brandished his sword. Open it. Too weak. Even if he tried his best, Kwangshalang couldn't resist Shiki's fluttering fruit for a few minutes before being completely restrained by the iron sand. Robin then injected him with Datura narcotic. Poison.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card, directly on my channel, or right here on the screen. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.